Hello and welcome back to Total Football, where we have an absolute crackerjack of a game for you tonight. It is Chelsea away from home against Ajax in the Champions League group stages. Hugely exciting game. And joining me tonight, we've got Sam Obaseki.
Yeah, buddy.
Supporting your team. How do you think it's going to go tonight?
It's going to go good. It's going to go good. You got to keep the same energy from the start to finish, you know what I mean? I'm going to try to be positive from the start throughout.
I like it. He's got a lot of belief. And Pat, you're sort of our Ajax analyst tonight. How do you think it's going to go from an Ajax perspective?
I don't know. I'm not that confident for Ajax. You know, I think
Really?
their results look better than they've been so far. Whereas I think Chelsea are actually pretty good. I think I'm kind of backing Chelsea tonight.
Come on.
And Sonny, would you like to explain your role tonight?
So obviously I'm the question master. So get your questions below.
Question master.
Already bottling it as the Spurs fan. So yeah, send your questions below in the comments, and I'll try and ask as many as I can.
Yeah, absolutely huge occasion. Obviously, Chelsea face a massive uphill task tonight away at Ajax. They obviously reached the semi-finals last year, and they've started in pretty good fashion, at least results-wise, Pat, with two 3-0 victories.
Yeah, they have. I think if you look at the Lille game, like even just watch the highlights of that match, and you can see that Lille had plenty of chances. Like Andre Onana is a fantastic keeper, but when you're watching the highlights, thinking, "Wow, Andre Onana is a fantastic keeper," that's not necessarily a sign of a good defensive performance. But they have been in absolutely incredible form domestically. I think they're unbeaten in all competitions, in fact, so far this season, and obviously their forward line is just on fire. So there's plenty of attacking power there, and they are at home, and it's one of those stadiums, the Amsterdam Arena, like Anfield, I think, where they really get up for a European game. So I'm not expecting it to be easy, but I really think Chelsea are really good, and it's frustrating, but and of course at Chelsea, who looks like they're starting a bunch of their youngsters.
Yeah, because Oba, I mean, who of that sort of young talent that we've seen so much this year, who's really grabbed your attention as a Chelsea fan? Who are you most behind?
Obviously Abraham, and Abraham especially, just because at the beginning,
Barkley as well.
Big miss.
Oba, I know how much of a loss will the lack of those two be in midfield?
Barkley not much really. I like him kinda, but I'm happy that I wouldn't want him to start anyway. Kante, it's a big miss, but at the same time, because the other players are playing so well, Jorginho is playing so well, he's basically the lead on the pitch in the midfield. Kovacic is playing like he's just newborn. Last season he wasn't as good. This year he's controlling the midfield, and obviously if it was a few months ago, I'd say we'll be in trouble. But yeah, I'm confident with them two starting.
Believing, I like it. Sonny, let's get our first question of the night in from our lovely audience.
So first question is from Big Butcher Man.
Yes, Big Butcher.
And he says, out of these two teams, Chelsea and Ajax, who could go the furthest in the competition?
Ooh, I reckon just on the basis of experience, I'd probably go Ajax. I think they've been there to big grounds last year. They obviously went through against Real Madrid. They've beaten Juventus as well. That is, quite a statement of intent. Whereas Chelsea haven't actually played that many Champions League campaigns recently. And although they got that 2-1 win against Lille, which I thought was crucial for their hopes this year, I think it's going to be a big ask for them to go much further than potentially the last 16, in my opinion. And I think the last 16 with this side, with so much young, particularly English talent, I think they've got 3 or 4 under the age of 21 in Abraham Mount, Reece James, Tomori as well. I think that'd be a great sort of stepping stone for them moving forward. I mean, Pat, of that question, who do you think is going to go the furthest?
I don't know if I'd say they will go the furthest, but my money would probably be on Chelsea.
I love this energy.
Provided they get out of the group. Like when you say that, when you talk about experience, I mean, that's really based on that one season that Ajax went far. And it wasn't just down to like 2 or 3 guys. The whole team played well, but a couple of really important players have gone since. Whereas I look at the Chelsea squad now and I think there actually is a load of experience in there. Like Rudiger's an experienced player, Conte is an experienced player, Azpilicueta is experienced. And they've got loads of different ways to hurt you. You know, like we've talked about Giroud and Pulisic. Pulisic is barely bedded in, you know. So I look at Chelsea and I think they've been really, really good so far this season in the Premier League. And they've got a bunch of guys yet to come back in who I think will make the squad and potentially the 11 a lot better. And actually, the Champions League, I think, is quite weak this year. Like, we thought that Juventus would be better than they've looked so far. Yeah. Maybe Rabiot comes in and Ramsey and it starts to look a bit better. But generally speaking, I think there's almost nobody in the Champions League this season who doesn't look beatable. So, yeah, why couldn't Chelsea go far?
Oh, but I'm not going to ask you who you think should go further, because I think we all know the answer to that. But of the Ajax team that you're coming up against tonight, who, as a Chelsea fan, are you most worried about facing? Is it Hakim Ziyech?
Yeah, Ziyech. I think he's such a baller. Like, if we didn't have the embargo this year, I would have wanted Chelsea to go through.
He'd have been great.
Especially with the 25 mil release clause that he did have. He doesn't have it anymore because he literally just signed a new contract. But he is a baller. The goal he scored against Valencia was mad. Like, I think there's something... I'm not trying to sound like Roy Keane or Souness or anything, but I think there's something to do with his attitude, because for what he done last season, for there not to be that many teams like fully forcing a move for him, doesn't really make sense. But
and it wasn't just on the basis of last year. I think he's done 2 or 3 exceptional Eredivisie years. You know, really, made the difference at times in the Champions League last year as well. So I'm kind of with you. Maybe a move next summer, if not. And he's still 26, so I've still got plenty of time. Sonny, we've actually caught you in probably a better mood than you've been in recent times.
Yes, potentially, yeah.
Talk us through last night. I mean, what were you just much better? What came together?
I'd say...
Sonny's a Tottenham fan, by the way,
yes.
Just in case that you missed that.
You might be confused by the Ajax
shirt.
Yes,
I'm not Dutch at all. No, I think Pochettino attacked quite a few problems. I mean, one of those problems being Danny Rose. And I'm really sad to say that, but I think Danny Rose, the drop-off started when Walker left, because they were a bit of a team. They'd bomb down the wings, and our 3 at the back or 2 at the back like Vertonghen or Alderweireld, they could cover back then. And that's what I think the main problem is at the moment with our recruitment. We just haven't prepared for the future and the inevitable of Vertonghen and Alderweireld were going to get old, and they're not as good as they used to be.
You got Sanchez, though.
Sanchez was good for his first season. When we paid 45 million, I thought it was a risk, but coming from Ajax, obviously. But he was very good in that first season, but I really don't know what's happened. And Pochettino is such a good manager, but it hasn't seemed to click. And Dembele, that replacement still hasn't been sold, even though I think lots of Tottenham fans thought Ndombele was going to be that replacement, but they're 2 very different players. I think
played well last night. I thought.
He's been one of our best players. I
He's
think
been great.
People haven't really spoke about him a lot because of the
malaise around him,
because of the turmoil and crisis we're in. But I do think, hopefully, last night, although we should have been winning by that scoreline, I hope it does push us on, but we are going to get whacked by Liverpool at the weekend. So.
Oh, come on, man. You got to believe, though.
It's Anfield.
It's your away form as well. I think you haven't won away in the league since mid-January. I think it's 21 points from your last 20 games in the league. Yeah. It's really tragic. But we can't keep on talking about Spurs.
Yes.
We will come back to them, I'm sure, with Oba at the other end of the sofa, no doubt. There'll be some ribbing going forward. But we have both teams on the pitch now. Champions League anthem probably playing full blast. And... there's a lot of exciting young talent in this Ajax side.
There's the main man.
There's the main man, Hakim Ziyech. Did we see Donny van der Beek as well? Yes, he's playing as well.
David Neres on the bench.
And Pat, one of the sort of underrated, one of the most underrated players in their run to the Champions League semi-finals last year was probably Tagliafico and Mazraoui as their fullbacks. Yeah. What do you think they sort of offer this Ajax side, and how sort of dangerous do you think they'll be tonight? Although we're seeing Serginho Dest starting on the right.
Well, Tagliafico, I mean, he's not spectacular. He's just a good defensive fullback who can get forward a little bit as well. In fact, actually, you might want to watch him on set pieces because quite often Ajax attempt these manoeuvres to try and get him free. And he's had a couple of goals in the Champions League already, I think, this season. So he is a real danger from those set pieces. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's a spectacular player. And I think they're playing Feltman at right back. And I think he could be in for a really difficult night up against Hudson-Odoi or whoever it ends up being. Like, I don't know. Their fullbacks I don't think are spectacular. And the defensive midfield zone, I think, has got weaker as well. This just feels like there are holes all over that Chelsea can get at. So I think that even if Ajax score goals, I think Chelsea can as well.
We've got the captains shaking hands now. We've got Tadic and Azpilicueta. We need some quick predictions in. Oba, what are you saying?
Scoreline.
You'll live and die by this tonight.
Chelsea win 2-1.
Oh, Pat?
3-2 Chelsea.
Oh, goal fest. Let's hope for that. I'm going 2-1 Ajax, I think, and our
I think
man on the side.
2-0 Ajax.
2-0 Ajax.
Such a pagan.
I think they're good. I think they're a good team.
Fair. Amsterdam Arena, as Pat said, looks absolutely...
Johan Cruyff Arena.
Johan Cruyff Arena even looks absolutely filled to bursting. Willian, being one of the more underrated players so far this season, Oba, and talk us through this lineup as well.
So we've got... we're going 3 at the back. Oh, okay, cool. We've got Aspi, Zuma, Tamori at the back, and then Alonso, who's a man reinventing. I don't know what Lampard said to him.
Yeah, he's played well in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he?
Since Emerson's been back from injury, he's like, I don't want to get out this side. So yeah, he's been playing well. Jorginho, Kovacic, Hudson-Odoi filling out the rest of the midfield, and then Mount, Abraham, and Willian. You said Willian is... The thing is with Willian, before this season, I wanted him to basically do what he's been doing the last few weeks, like actually contributing to goals, not just playing well. Because in the last few years, like he's played well, but he hasn't been getting the stats. And especially when you've got when your team's not doing well or you're playing well and you're not scoring, the wingers are normally going to get the stick for that. That's why. Even when Hazard was still around, William was always getting the stick. Like, why are you not contributing as much as Hazard? Is he going to be able to carry the torch? But I think this year he's kind of taken the mantle. Like, yeah, I'm the OG. I'm gonna lift these young G's, and yeah, he's doing it now, man. And especially with Hudson-Odoi as well, I think they've got like a connection that is just building and building. So yeah, it's nice to see.
Hudson-Odoi's now got 3 Premier League assists, which is pretty crazy given the minutes he's played.
By the way, there's zero chance that formation was correct. We're already seeing them lining up in 4-2-3-1 Chelsea, which I think is what you'd think. Looking at that lineup, you'd be like, this is going to be a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, Hudson-Odoi instantly on the left.
Often the people doing the Champions League lineups just like chuck people in.
Early corner.
Early corner. And just a quick reminder, if you've joined us for the first time, to subscribe to EuroFootball Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. But lads, you know, we're well aware that this is an early kickoff, so we had to get the food in now. But feel free to tuck in during the stream. We've got some chicken, we've got some toast, we've got
thanks,
some
dudes,
chips.
man. I appreciate
so
that.
don't hold back, okay?
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Sonny,
it.
as this corner gets swung in,
Yes.
what are the people saying?
There's a lot of questions about top 4 race. Obviously, very hotting up with Tottenham, Arsenal, Man U not being great at the moment.
Indeed.
So, along those lines, can Chelsea now finish in the top 4? And what is your top 4 prediction? Based that they were most people.
Oh my god!
Most people thought they would finish outside the top 4 at the beginning of the year.
Most people weren't thinking because I said it from the beginning that we're going to finish in the top 4, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I genuinely think that we've got a very good chance. I do think that Leicester are going to cause one of the old Big Six a problem, though, because they don't look like they're slowing down. Like, even when they're not playing as well, especially, like, I think the main example was that game against Liverpool. Like, they didn't play that well, but I can't...
And there was a penalty in the last minute then
Hello.
that they then lost on.
Oh my god!
That's
he
handball. That's
should have
handball.
just hit that.
Pat,
first.
talk us through what sort of happened there.
So there was a corner. It ended up.
Oh, it's offside.
It ended up kind of going back to Tamori in the midfield zone, who dwelt too long on the ball, got robbed. But then Ajax kind of over-elaborated anyway, ended up being offside. I think if there hadn't been that offside, you'd have seen a penalty here against Marcus Alonso. That is onside. So I think I wonder what happens there. Do they go to VAR?
Yeah,
Rule
are we
that that's
VAR
onside, and then
checking
do you VAR and give a penalty? I
This
don't
could
know.
be massive.
No, but
'cause if
that's
it's
the
on-
referee's decision, though, isn't it? He gave the offside, so
Well,
they
we've
can't,
just
can't go against
carried
it.
on.
Right, we're just carrying on. But yeah, as
Apparently
Pat
fine.
says, that ball ricocheted very much into Alonso's arm from not a big distance, but as we all know, these Champions League rules just has to hit them outside the natural silhouette of their body from pretty much whatever distance. So Chelsea potentially, after a good start, good counter, getting down and getting a corner, could have been 1-0 down there potentially. But yeah, frenetic start in Amsterdam. Pat, I know that you probably don't want to talk that much about Arsenal after Monday and with watching Chelsea Ajax, but we've got to talk, if we're talking about the top 4 race, we've got to talk about Arsenal's hopes. Do you think it's possible?
This is what people say every week. Like, Arsenal have a bad result, and people are like, oh, probably don't want to talk about Arsenal today. And like, no, we've been saying that we're bad the whole time.
I just thought it might be
Like,
too upsetting.
Other fans have just been like, oh, no, you should stop complaining about your team. And it's like, no, we've been dreadful all along, man. Like, I don't really think Arsenal have got a shot right now.
Really?
Unless it depends what happens with Spurs, basically.
Yes.
Like Leicester are currently worse than their position in the table suggests. They're good. They're a good team, but their stats don't make them look like a top 4 team. They actually look slightly worse than that, and they've just had a good run so far this season. At the weekend, they got very lucky to beat Burnley.
Extremely.
Whereas, I don't know. I think Chelsea are pretty much nailed on for third. You know, obviously they've done this, especially like without Conte, without Rudiger, without a lot of key players. You know, for stretches. Emerson's out at the moment, which is a bit of a problem for them. But
He's on the bench, though.
But I think Chelsea will probably finish third, and unless the players have quit on Pochettino, which it didn't look like they did,
Last night, at least,
especially last night. Though obviously in the Premier League things have been different. They should have lost to Watford. I don't know. I just think that the quality of manager and the quality of player will eventually tell for Spurs. And given that, I find it really hard to see a route for Arsenal into the top 4. Like they probably need to sack Emery right now if they want to get into the top 4,
Oh, you heard it first.
because that's the issue.
I think that's probably fair enough.
Look at that squad. Look at that squad. How bad is that squad? Is it as good as Chelsea's? Yeah, probably. Is it better than? It's definitely better than United's.
I think you could get 4th almost by default with the way United are, though.
Nah, but I just think Spurs will get it.
Yeah, we'll see. I thought Chelsea were the ones to finish 6th at the start of the year, and I've been completely proved wrong. I thought Lampard was a very dodgy appointment, considering his stats last year at Derby. Wasn't overwhelmed by them, and I just thought it was too much of a risk. But he's gone in with seemingly sort of a free hand in a way. Play the youngsters. Obviously can't sign any players that weren't registered last year, so they did manage to get in Kovacic and that sort of thing. But the way he's seemingly got these young players instantly performing to a very good Premier League level is really impressive.
I don't know, man. I think maybe they're just really good. Like Tammy just is a really good player. Don't get me wrong. Like I think Lampard's doing a fine job.
I think he deserves a lot of credit.
But why? Like what's the evidence? Like
Because we started very bad.
They lost
hey, he had one bad result.
Yeah,
just
but
a bit-
So
lost,
doesn't he get
like,
criticism for that as well?
They lost someone who contributed over 40% of their goals last year, and he's made the team seemingly perform better than they did for large parts of the year under Maurizio Sarri, who we were rated as one of the best managers in Europe.
I don't think they did. I don't think they are performing better than that. I think they're probably performing about the same level. But also, I don't know. Like that depends how good the young players are. Like if we're saying that like Tammy Abraham is clearly a massive upgrade on any of the strikers they were playing last season when they were playing an ancient Higuain, who was dreadful.
He's playing well this year, though, to be fair.
He was absolutely shocking, though, for
bad
Chelsea last season. And clearly, Hudson-Odoi is a big upgrade. Hudson-Odoi and Mount in combination are an upgrade on, like, Pedro. So, yeah, of course, they lost a key player, but what they've done is strengthened in a bunch of other positions. So, has he done a good job? Yeah. But also, it's not up... It's tempting to say, oh, well, this player's come along and he's been really good, and therefore you have to give him credit. But actually... Maybe Tomori and Abraham are just really good. I'd give him credit for Mount because that's basically his guy.
And Tomori as well.
Though I think Mount is the least impressive of those 3 guys, to be honest.
I'd argue that very few managers would play them all as much as he has at the start of this year.
I think
particularly Sarri.
I think that but they've got a transfer ban, man. Like, what are you going to do?
If they'd kept Sarri, we would not be seeing.
we wouldn't be
We
seeing
would
this
not
team.
be seeing these young players.
days.
Giroud would still be playing. It'd be Pedro on the wing. It'd be Christensen at the back
100%.
with.
But that's a
probably
knock.
Zuma.
That's a knock on Sarri as opposed to particular credit for Lampard. Like, You can't simultaneously say, look how good these young players are, and say, oh, well, it's genius of Lampard to play them. It's like, no, if they are that good, then like that's obvious, and he'll be able to see that in training.
I just think he deserves some credit.
I think he deserves a bit of credit. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve any credit. I'm just saying that, like, whenever a team is playing well, everybody's just like, well, it must be the manager. And I think sometimes you want to tell a story about the talent. And I said that I thought Chelsea were better than United at the beginning of the season, purely on the basis of depth and talent. And I think both those things have been borne out, man, because United are trash.
I do agree with you. When a team performs badly, it's always the manager's fault. And when a team performs well, maybe it's too much the manager's to his credit as well. I think players do get slightly underrated. But I really respect Lampard for the job he's done so far. But anyway, let's move on. Sonny, let's get another question in as we approach the 8th minute of the game.
First of all, I'd like to mention there's a little bit of comments in the...
Oh, my days.
Hit that.
Oh, just why?
Lots of people in the comments saying who has got the best shirt, and at the moment it's between me and Pat, actually.
What?
People saying you've got
Are
a
you
lovely
mad?
shirt tonight.
Are you mad? Let me take this off properly.
Pat's shirt's great, but
What
you know,
do
we're
you
on a
mean?
football stream. What is this?
What do you mean talking
not
about
wearing a
best shirts? Are
football
you not
shirt.
seeing? This was one of the best shirts that Chelsea have ever made.
When was that? 2000.
The year that we won our last Prem. When Conte's
2016,
second to last
Oh,
season.
that reminds me of
yeah.
BATSHUAYI because he scored the winning sort of goal, didn't he?
yeah.
that?
Who was that against?
Man, I hate him.
West
Brom,
Brom,
I think.
yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Bit of trivia for you.
So-
It's mental that you guys just wear football shirts like.
I
on a
just feel
normal
like
day.
I like
if I
this
might
stuff.
not be in this
Thank
industry forever, and I'm going to make the most of it while I can. I've got
Yeah,
a lot.
we've
I've got
got
a
good
lot of
collections,
shirts.
haven't we,
I've got-
between
Yeah,
us?
it's like your entire wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you man need to
I do have a
get
bit
on
of other
t-shirts and that.
alternatives, but
Yeah,
I
you
just
have that pyjama shirt.
I get very hot in these sort of
And he has a
shirts.
normal suit, which is, a big win over the rest of you.
Yeah, I really like my suit compared to some of the
What, the blue one?
tragic
Wait,
ones.
wait,
It's just a
what's-
normal
what's suit?
human man suit.
It's just
Oh, is
a,
that the one you wore
that
to the awards?
salesman suit. Yes.
Estate agent.
Whereas
Yeah,
some- sometimes
they
you
were
go
all
to-
laughing at him, despite the fact they were all dressed like
Sometimes-
Essex boys at their
I was
first
not.
prom.
I
Yeah,
look
well,
calm.
I
I was wearing a
allowed to do
tone.
I feel like sometimes we go to an awards ceremony and everyone's like,
Exactly.
how many different colours can I put on? And I'm just like, just wear a suit.
Who you atting? You might as well say their name.
These guys love
Who are you,
check.
mate?
These guys love a check. They love a check suit.
And I
man.
thought you two look very nice.
Thank
love a
you.
top
Thank
man
you very
suit.
much.
Anyway, Sonny, what was the
Yes.
question?
So,
Sorry.
keeping with the Champions League theme, because that's obviously what we are watching.
Indeed.
Who are your favourites or favourite for this year?
PSG.
To go all the way and link
PSG.
back.
Obba, saying it
You heard
early.
it. You heard it here
PSG.
first.
Yeah,
Innit?
I'd agree.
PSG are hard, and
Oh.
Oh!
I'm sorry, didn't I say that PSG were one of the favourites at the beginning of the season? And I got
Did you?
endless.
I agree.
I didn't say they were my favourites. I said that they were the next one after, I think, Liverpool and City. And everyone went mental.
I remember you saying that. I don't remember people going mental, though.
They went mental.
Bam.
oh my
So you're in
days.
PSG, Obba?
Yeah, PSG. I think.
Talk us through that.
I think the way they've started this season, I can't remember the stat completely, but they've not conceded that many goals, league or Champions
They've
League.
conceded
and,
5 in 10 in the league, and they've conceded none in the Champions League.
like they're playing so well. Thanks for that stat. by the way. They're playing so well, and it's not even the fact that they got Icardi to kind of replace, like, kind of push Cavani out, and he's literally banging
bad,
now.
man.
I think they're set. And the formation that they're using now makes more sense. Than
I've heard you going mental all week about Di Maria as well.
Di Maria,
That was
the
wild.
guy is a baller. The guy has been a baller. That little Manchester United stint doesn't mean anything in it, because at Madrid he was a baller.
still
At
fine,
PSG he's been serious.
Yeah, I
like,
thought
that
he was good at
assist,
United,
Yeah.
man.
that assist for Mbappe's third goal
Yeah.
was not real in it. Like, and Kepa, what are you doing?
That was
What
not
you doing,
good
bro?
from Kepa.
Yes,
Well,
Tomori.
we need to
played.
talk
Well
about
dealt
Kepa,
with, to be fair.
We need to talk about Kepa.
Fair.
He's bad.
He's not bad,
He's
bro.
a bad. He's
Sam,
a
he was
bad
a panic
keeper.
buyer.
Him and Leno, yeah,
Sam.
we know he was a panic buyer,
Sam.
but he's better than Lloris. He's better than Lloris, though, isn't he?
Here's the thing.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
he is.
Now,
Don't,
yes,
don't give me
but-
that. Don't say now,
he's
yes.
Not. No, he's not.
The
What do you
Reece-
mean,
the Reece
no?
is on the
He's
decline.
probably been the worst keeper in the league so far this season.
What?
Kepa?
So
A
far
lot.
this
Al
season.
20?
So far this season.
Over Ben Foster.
Lloris has been awful.
So far this season, Leno has saved 75% of the shots on target he's faced. Kepa has saved 50%, 28 shots on target, and he's let in 14 goals. That is bad. Like, now maybe he's better than that, but historically over his career he hasn't been much better than that.
No.
He's good with his feet. He makes the odd great save, but generally speaking, man,
He reminds.
I'm unconvinced about.
He
Kepa.
reminds me of a younger De Gea when De Gea first came to the Prem.
I am.
No, because the hair
And
was
he-
still good then.
Yeah, and Kepa is definitely still good. He's definitely still good. I'm not
No.
having. I think he's levels with Leno. I don't know where you're hearing that
Yeah.
Leno's
I think
levels
Leno's
above.
maybe slightly better, but I don't think he's been the worst keeper
I
in the
don't,
league.
I'm not going wild about Leno, but Leno's clearly been better this season.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of Leno, but like generally speaking, like I look at Kepa and I think, yeah, that was 70 mil wasted.
Okay, seeing as we're on the topics of goalkeepers, I imagine everyone's going to go like Alisson, Edison, De Gea is the top three, and we can argue all day about
Fabianski.
that. But who are we saying?
Henderson.
Who are we saying is fourth? Because I think that's more
I'll
interesting.
go with Pat Fabianski.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Henderson's a good shout as
Massive
well.
loss for West Ham.
I think it's too early for Dean Henderson.
He's good.
Are we not talking about so far this season?
Oh, okay. I thought it just meant overall, but yeah, we can.
Well,
If we're going overall, I'll say Kepa in it. But if it's
That's
this
mental.
season, it's
That's
Henderson.
mental, man. Because
I'd probably
Kepa
go
wasn't
Rui
good last
Patricio
season.
overall. To be honest.
Yeah, Rui Patricio.
Maybe Schmeichel as well. I think Schmeichel.
Yeah,
was
Kasper
awesome for a long
Schmeichel's a good
time.
keeper.
Did you not see them penalty saves in the Europa League and
It don't
Carabao
ma-
last season?
Yeah,
bro?
but-
But it doesn't
train
matter.
that all week,
Like he can do good things. Like, but Diego Alves is the best penalty saver I've ever seen as a goalkeeper. But is he the best keeper in the world? No, he's not.
Don't
And like,
fall with
I look
Valencia.
at Kepa, and Kepa makes the odd great save. But
But
there are
in
people
term-
talking about him like you paid people are talking about Pepe as a waste of money, man.
No,
You paid-
because it's not the same scenario, bro.
You
we
paid
wouldn't,
the
we
same
wouldn't
money.
Have,
Oh,
we
here we
wouldn't
go,
have
here we
been
go.
able. Hey, Hudson-Odoi, do something because you've been annoying me this game. I can't lie.
Here we go. I'll be talking
Do
through
something.
what's going
Go
on.
Hudson. Oh my days. Oh my days.
It's not good.
Hudson-Odoi was running down the line and just lost it.
That
Not
the
good
penalty.
position. Here we go. You're back
Go
on
on.
though.
Oh, I know.
Do something special. Well played.
Why is Marcus Alonso up there?
Go on, beat him
When
line.
is
Beat
it?
him
Yeah,
line.
he
Beat
just
him line.
Literally, he never
just
plays
does,
left back.
He does his own thing, doesn't he? Sonny,
Oh!
as we sort of conclude the
Alonso.
topic of
So bad.
goalkeepers,
Unlucky.
Yes.
Unlucky.
obviously Hugo Lloris is out for the season, or at least.
Coming
till-
back in January, apparently.
Oh right,
I've got
okay.
a
Well,
bag- I've got a bag of
are
toast
you
here.
worried about the impact that could have on your team, or considering how he's playing, do you think it's a sort of blessing in disguise?
I'm not too worried because I think when he comes back, I mean, on his day, Lloris can be
Nah, bro.
one of the best.
His
in the
day's
league.
done.
He can,
His day's done, man.
He's a great shot
Last season
stopper.
was his best
His day-
season.
his
He's
day's
a great,
done.
he's a great
His
shot
day's done.
stopper, but what he was known for when we signed him was this sweeper keeper role.
which
But,
which he semi-invented, him and Neuer.
yeah, but since in recent years, I think his decision making has declined heavily.
But so is your backline, man.
it's
Like,
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes,
That's it.
boys. Go on, Mount. Bangers.
Oh, what a save!
Another great.
Oh, but talk us through it. What
Mount
happened?
and Hudson-Odoi combined on the edge of the box. Mount just had a shot near post and Nana saved. It
was a good save.
It was a good save. It was a good save. It
I
was a
thought,
good
yeah,
save.
it was just good play from Chelsea. I'm enjoying this so far.
Come on, man.
Back to
It's
your
weird to say
team.
like Lloris's day is done, given that last season was his best league campaign ever.
He's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Someone has noticed something like Champions
but-
League.
I mean,
campaign was
that's
very
mostly
But
because he
he's-
got to the final
He
Champions
did
League.
play
and
well
won
in the
World Cup.
Champions League.
But in that
Why
whole
was
campaign,
it
he was
his
good.
best season in terms of what?
Because he saved Spurs, I think.
Ajax
Wasn't
game.
it like 12 goals? Like if you look at the expected goals against them and then the goals they actually conceded, they were like 10 ahead by the end of the season. Like just save. And when you watch him as well, like I watched a lot of Spurs last season, and Lloris in the league, Lloris was making so many great saves. But the thing is, when he makes a big mistake, everybody says, "Well, Lloris is done," because I think that's the people really love a sort of semi-controversial position that everyone agrees with. So people love it when they can say something like, "Oh, so and so's done," like so and so's terrible
No,
now,
but Lloris
because
has been
everybody
questionable for years, man.
everybody on football Twitter will agree with it. I agree that his season before last wasn't great, but last season was
And obviously,
fantastic.
he
but
made
it's
a
the
mistake
mistake-
in the
it's-
World Cup final, which was
It's the
obviously-
mistakes he makes, though, man.
Yeah.
As captain as well.
But he saves them a bunch of goals, so it doesn't matter. Like overall, like they concede fewer goals because they have Hugo Lloris.
Oh my days.
Like if Kepa ends up being half as good as Hugo Lloris has been over the course of his career, like that will be a massive result for him, man.
Man, what are you
Like-
saying? Lloris isn't. Lloris
Kepa's
back in the
not
day
good.
was Kepa is good.
He's
and
not.
this is where
No,
and this is where this
There's,
is where
there's,
you start.
there's
to
not
argue
any
that
there's not
argument.
any evidence yet that Kepa's good. That's the issue.
I don't have
You
stats,
paid
but
70
he's played very well
You
for us.
paid
innit?
70 mil for a guy who was like not really had a great season ever, and now you're hoping he will be good. And
Last
actually, he's
season,
had his worst.
last
he's
season
had
he
the
wasn't bad. When he first came in,
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't good either. He was like a league average keeper.
The amount of pressure that was on him, the amount of pressure that added because of that sorry situation, and the fact that he still saved pens, still was confident with
Was he?
on the ball. Yes, he was.
Oh my god, man! I
Man,
thought,
I watched the guy. I
I
watched
thought
the
he had a
guy.
pretty bad season last year, and he's having a dreadful season so far this year.
He's not having a dreadful season.
He
He
is,
wouldn't
man.
be getting
He's
called up
saving
by
half-
Spain and be starting their games as well.
Yeah, because Spain have never called up anybody who's bad. Do you remember Danny Geether? Because I do. Like, I just think,
I don't actually.
I just think
He's
like,
that rogue
ref.
striker.
I just think like, look, he may well be
you doing,
good, but you
Tammy?
paid a lot of money for a guy who you had no idea whether he was good, and he's actually had the worst form of his career so far at Chelsea. Like, so it's a bit troubling.
I don't
That's
think.
what I'm saying.
I think you're over exaggerating
And I think
how
this
bad
is.
he's been.
I think this
I
is
don't think
Lloris.
Kepa's too bad.
Yeah, but this is the thing about Lloris as well. Lloris makes a mistake, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's done." But he isn't.
But
Like,
he
he's
has
still a
been-
good keeper. He's still a really
He's
good
still
keeper.
good.
To challenge Tomori, fam.
And it's weird as well that like, oh well, Lloris has suddenly got bad like during a period where Spurs'
challenge.
entire defence has got bad. Like
Yeah.
that to me
Most
suggests
it's
a
there for.
problem.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah. I think
People
yeah.
do-
No one's saying Alderweireld's bad, but Alderweireld's had a
He's
bigger
played
drop off than
awfully,
Lloris
yeah.
has.
People just say, but he's been injury prone. You're like, well, that's a reason.
Yeah, so is Lloris actually,
Yeah.
but you know, it is what it is. Like I think that whole defense is declining, and don't get me wrong, like Lloris is obviously on the downslope. Like he's 32 now. This is the time when keepers tend to start to decline unless they're Gigi Buffon. But I don't know. Like I just think that it's like a fun, popular opinion to say that Lloris is done, and I just don't think he is. I think he's fine.
I think it's the errors leading to goals. I think
Yeah.
he's made more
But-
than anyone else
Yeah,
in the
but
last
goalkeeper
3
But
years.
that's
have
also
that
because
once
he
in a while.
plays
But then
more.
exactly, it's difficult to judge because I get what you're saying about his save percentage and saving so many expected goals, but you just it's just
Mount,
But
I
it
love
doesn't
this.
matter.
He makes saves that pretty much no one else can make, but he
Ooh,
also
good
makes
challenge.
errors that I haven't seen many other keepers make.
But if he ends up saving them 10 goals over the course of a season, it doesn't
Then
really
it's
matter,
worth
right?
it. Exactly, I know, but yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
Do you reckon he should be captain though?
No, I think they should probably give it to Kane. Try and make him stay.
I've always
I don't
said,
think you should
I've
make
always
him
said
striker captain, man.
it should be Kane or Vertonghen.
Lloris should never
they-
be captain.
Yeah, but
makes too
Vertonghen's
many
going
mistakes.
at the
But
end of the
Vertonghen's not playing well either.
I mean, Vertonghen a couple of years ago, I would have said, because I think he's like our third captain. But yeah, Kane should be captain.
I don't like strikers as captains.
Same.
Like, because they've got to think about themselves. They don't actually have to
A lot
think
of people
about the
don't
team.
like goalkeepers as captains.
No, I agree, because like sometimes if there's say an issue like at the other end of the pitch, like he's got to run the length of the pitch to talk to the ref about it. Like what you really want is a defender or a
of
midfielder
course.
as captain, but I don't know. Like you've got, I think
Oh my
the problem
days.
is you've got a bunch of guys who are
Did
all
you
on
just
their
see
way
that pass
out.
by Onana?
You know, it'd be great if you could make like Ndombele captain because he'll probably be good material. for it in
what a
couple of years.
Wow,
Ooh.
Ziyech.
But he seems like
Double
he's-
up on him.
Danny
Don't leave
Rose
him by
on
There we
himself.
go. Trouble, not trouble.
Son.
No, still- Son's too
Son
nice.
is-
Yes,
Son's
too
well
nice to
played.
be a captain.
Tomori,
Apparently
well
he's
played.
the Joker in the dressing room.
I love
Well
Son so
played.
much, man.
He's amazing.
I'm so furious.
He's a
What
bit-
have you made of the last sort of 5 minutes in this game? Because I feel like you're
Mayhem.
sort of holding on.
Yeah, it's a bit back
Really?
and forth. No, I don't know.
I feel like there's
You
been
could
quite a
say
few like,
they've-
last minute challenges, last minute sort of block.
They've had a bit more possession. If they keep on switching it the way they are, especially on the left, Alonso side, we're going to be in trouble in it. But we're doing all right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're playing.
I think it's a solid start. I just feel like last 5 minutes maybe they've got into more
been some good-
promising positions.
been some good combination play as well. Like I mean, like if Marcus Alonso had a better touch,
Ziyech
then,
again.
like,
He loves it.
yeah, but that's exactly what Willian does.
Yeah, that's not a particularly clever idea when you've got Willian. He's a
Hudson,
very solid
Hudson, the
defender.
way Hudson-Odoi presses you,
I don't
it's
know how
so
Williams
irritating,
is in
man.
this team.
Yeah, but
So-
fortunately, the rest of that front line presses really hard.
But you
You're
get
right,
what I'm
Steve.
saying though. It's like he's like just
He-
jogging into.
he's
it.
a
It's
bit like
bro,
Pepe,
give it,
right?
Give a bit more.
Like he plays like he's already had a 20-goal season.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
you're
my
like, calm
days.
down,
That is
calm
exactly.
down.
That's exactly the thing. He's had a good season so far, but relax, bro. We need you to work.
Yeah, exactly, and like that's the thing that I actually like about playing the kids. Like for Arsenal so far this season, what I really like when we play guys like Bukayo Saka. I mean,
Saka.
Bukayo Saka is
Baller.
also like just good,
Baller.
but they seem to work a lot harder than the senior players because they really want
Want
to
to.
earn that place. You know, so people like Pepe are like, well, you paid 70 mil for me, so I'm gonna play, so I can do what I want, and that pisses me off because you think, no, Bukayo Saka looks like a kid. You know what? Like we've got all these kids, most of them from Ealing, and they all just want to play football for Arsenal, and I really like that. Like that's the one feel good factor in this season that we've got Bukayo Saka who looks sick. We've got Reece Nelson who I love. We've got so many like Joe Willock who was the least fancied of the three Willock brothers. He was the one who they said he's not going to amount to anything.
Really?
Oh,
And
there's two
he's
more.
starting for Arsenal in the Premier League.
He's
Like,
a
good,
baller.
good for him.
He's a
Yeah.
baller.
I feel like Pepe in like his system last year, Galtier kept them like his wingers really quite high, and Pepe was just like a speed merchant on the break.
Yeah.
And I feel like
It's quite defensive now,
He's
isn't it?
quite. He's not used to this sort of defensive work rate that he's got to pull out. And Rafa Leao and was it Jonathan Bamba as well? They
Yes,
did
come on.
stay pretty high, and Thiago Mendes sort of mopped up everything in midfield. So it's a slight change of system for him. But I actually think Pepe, he's getting unfairly blasted for me
played,
in
well
lots
played.
of places. But here we
Yeah, I
have
don't
Chelsea.
understand it at all.
He was
Go on,
just
Hudson-Odoi
in
on
He
the
was
left.
great against
Cut him.
Sheffield
He was
United.
great.
Like the only thing he
Ref.
could have done more was
Ref.
obviously finish
missed
that
that awful
chance.
chance, but
But he
That was
created that whole
was Emery's
move.
fault for taking him off.
Well, no, and then he created
Uh-oh.
the no, he's not going to pace tomorrow. And then he created
If
the
he wins this,
the whole
he's
move
so
that
good.
oh, no,
oh my
it's
days!
brilliant,
If you
man.
win this,
It was like the whole move that led to it was Pepe. So like Don't get me wrong, has Pepe been great so far? Not particularly. But like he's actually been dropping deep a lot and helping us in build-up play because we're so bad at build-up. He you know what he's paid? He plays exactly like Alexis.
Yeah.
He's so like Alexis. Like
Wow.
This
Rogue
guy.
back in.
bit wild. Like
I love it though.
when we
Love the
can't
front.
get forward, he drops deep and does a lot of ball progression. But when he looks inside, and yesterday when our attacking midfielder Willock was taken off to bring on a third central midfielder, he looks inside. He's got no one to combine with. So you know what he'd really benefit from? Bellerin and Özil. Like if you had those two guys there, which Sanchez had pretty much his whole time at Arsenal, he would have options. But right now it's like give the ball to Pepe, hope he runs up the pitch, creates a chance, and finishes it himself out of nothing.
Yeah, he's not
It's
even in
nonsense.
your top.
I'm so sick of it.
It's not even in your top 10 problems, but tell that to Arsenal Twitter.
Yeah, our top 10 problems are all the other players. It's
Well,
all
it's
about-
Em-
Emery.
The worst,
Emery's the biggest problem in Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Get
I
on
know,
to Emery in just a second. But Sonny, have you got a question?
I was going to switch up a little bit.
All right,
A bit
okay.
on last night's games.
Like
and
it.
It's a question about Raheem Sterling. Is he one of the top 5 players in the world?
It's not even a question anymore.
I
Right
think
now,
he probably is on
definitely.
I don't
form.
think it's a
Definitely,
question.
yeah.
Right now.
On form, Lewandowski, Di Maria, Sterling, De Bruyne, maybe.
We'll say not on form.
Ah,
so-
Jodie's getting booked and he didn't want to stand up. I feel Jodie Morris so much. Said, you want to book me? I'll stay seated. I'll stay seated,
He
mate.
did- yeah, but he did-
I
he
think,
did stand
yeah, I
up,
think
so-
Sterling's now 12 and 13 this year.
Wow.
Absolutely awesome last night again. Just like
Gangster.
really, he's just so clinical now. Yeah, there's never in doubt now. You know, Sterling used to constantly get lambasted for not finishing one-on-one situations. I'm just never in doubt now.
Even though he did miss a 1-on-1 last night.
He did miss. I mean, it still happens, obviously, but
But
like
to
his
do that in
inventive.
I know, I
Patrick
was just
is
joking.
nuts.
But
Like,
his inventiveness,
he'd
like
already
around the
scored one,
box, like his ball over the top for David Silva on Saturday. I feel like on a week-to-week basis, you can pull
He's
up
the most
examples of
consistent
Sterling
player for
really,
City.
really sort of earning his place in and amongst that top 5 in the world. I'm in complete agreement with.
He's not even
Jonathan.
25 yet.
Like, and you know
He's
what it
25
is.
and
You know what it
10,
is.
younger than me.
The finishing part of his game used to be
Love it,
the biggest problem. But you see the second finish yesterday. Yeah, Chris was saying earlier, like you can tell he's matured by the fact that he went near post when any other normal striker or winger would have just tried to go far post. Like he's so confident. Oh my days, Hudson-Odoi. He's so confident right now. Like, days.
Got a potential danger on the break here for Ajax. Ziyech has taken a long time.
He's not fast. That's why.
That was a 3-3.
Oh, he's
Here we
mixed
go.
him.
Right, there's a bit more. Is this
on.
Dest?
Oh, that-
Yes,
Oh,
Tomori, good
horrible
positioning.
play.
Set him out now.
So strong.
Ooh.
That's the reason I like Alonso so much in them situations though, because even though he's slow, yeah, his touch and passing ability
Yeah.
is so
He rarely
good.
loses the ball, does he? Who do you think's been your best player so far, Sam? I would argue maybe Tomori.
Yeah.
What in this game? Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow, 100%.
He's been awesome, hasn't he?
Hudson-Odoi needs to step up ASAP. I'm getting it.
But yeah, they're dealing with some Ajax players who are in fantastic form.
Go
I
on,
think
get them.
Ziyech's 5 goals and 4 assists in the league. I think
That's our
Tadic, I've got it down here, is 6 goals and 8 assists in the league already.
Yeah, in 10 games.
Which is quite frightening. And Quincy Promes has actually played really well so far
He's
as well.
got 8 goal involvements. I
Yeah,
think.
Pat, what do you make of Quincy Promes? Because he didn't have the best of time at
Give him-
Sevilla last year.
I actually thought he was pretty good at Sevilla. Like his shot numbers, his XG numbers, all that stuff was good.
Didn't get that much game time, potentially.
No, he didn't. I've never been wild about Quincy Promes because Quincy Promes has often, for me, like when you watch the Netherlands, like he's the guy in the front line who you think, no, you're probably, he was like older than like Depay. He was obviously not going to turn into a star. He was older than Bergwijn or Kluivert, so you kind of were like, who is this guy? But he's totally fine. Like he'll be very good for them. Like that. I mean, 8 goal involvement so far this season. On the other hand, Tadic, I think, has got like 5 in his last 6, 14 overall. Like, I think Ziyech's got 9 in 8, something like that. So it is the Eredivisie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's
They're
hard
only
to
3 points clear.
it's hard to
crazy.
give a coherent answer because essentially, like when you want to really rate how good somebody is, and they're playing for a team like Ajax, you have to wait and see how they do in continental competition.
Yeah.
Because it's often the only way to really gauge
If they're good or not,
attackers.
yeah.
Like attackers can put up big numbers in the Eredivisie. We see them do it time and time again, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, I feel like their attack has, through sort of not losing as much personnel as, De Ligt and De Jong and, what was that, Lasse Schöne and players like that. Their midfield and defence had to sort of regroup and sort of go again. Some
Finish!
of the new players.
Oh, come on,
Oh, but
come on,
talk us through
dog.
that.
Come
Talk us
on.
through that,
Alonso
mate.
put in a lovely delivery for
Tammy.
Tammy, and Hudson-Odoi got on the end of the deflection, and he just dragged it.
I feel like he snatched at it.
Just dragged
He had
it.
so much time.
I think
But-
I agree with Sonny. You can take
Literally,
a touch
what
there.
you said about him acting like he scored 20 goals, you can see it in his like energy. It's just off, man. He needs to want it, man. It's irritating.
frustrating.
Hello.
And we've now got Ajax in a promising position.
I've got to
again.
say, this is a really fun game.
yeah, it's
just
been
going
great,
back-
isn't it?
It's very end to end.
I feel like there's not really been much like
Hello.
I was worried slightly when we saw this lineup that there might be a lot of like there's fantastic midfields on display and it'd be like a real midfield slugfest with like
Well
Jorginho
played.
pinging
Well
it
played.
around
Ref!
to
That's not fair.
Kovacic,
holding
etc.
him, man.
But it's been really end to end so far. We haven't seen that many like clear cut opportunities, but I feel like there's been lots of promising play.
But Chelsea haven't been amazing defensively so far this season. If
No.
you want, like, they're better than 14 goals conceded in the league would suggest. But the knock against them would definitely be that they've still given up a lot of big chances down the centre. And Ajax are a really good attacking side. So it's not that surprising for me that we're going to see some chances in this kind of game.
Oh, but what do you think about? Because obviously Zuma didn't start the best against Man United, but he's semi-recovered since. And do you think Christensen should come into the side at some stage, or what do you make of your centre back pairing?
I think Tomori needs to stay. Like,
Yeah.
he's just
Undroppable.
He's just, undroppable. I don't know. Like some games.
Uh-oh.
Come on, do
Another
something.
chance.
Just. Oh my days!
I think
What's in the day, bro?
No, he did
The
the-
line is available. Just run down it.
I think he did the right thing.
Whoever made that covering
you
tackle.
cut
It was just good. That was a good tackle.
How can you cut back when
Was
you've
that
got
Edson
open
Alvarez?
grass in front of you?
He wanted to get on his right. He
Yeah,
wanted
that's
the
what-
shot.
yeah.
But he's
exactly.
good with his left as well. Trust yourself,
I
man.
feel like he needed to go down the line and cross it in.
Yeah, if you're not going
Or
to shoot,
take it
cross
early.
do
I
something.
don't think Cross was going to be on. I think he'd have been up. They were outnumbered.
It was just good defending.
Big opportunities for Chelsea in the last 2 minutes. This game is really
And
coming
this is
alive.
what happened against Valencia as well. But yeah, like I was saying, I think I like Zuma sometimes. He like when he's all right or when he plays well, he's good in it. But when he's not having a good game, he's very bad in it.
Error prone.
Like he's just even with Tomori, like he can have an all right game. I haven't seen Zuma have like an all right game. He's just either good or bad. And Christensen, I don't know. Christensen seems a bit odd to me because I really do like him. I like his ability on the ball as well. But sometimes he's not soft, but he just seems a bit like I want him to just
Command it a bit more.
yeah, be a bit more commanding. He doesn't go for it as much as I think he can, but I don't know, man. I don't know how much he wants it. I like Zuma's energy is clearly more than
So stick with Zuma and
Yeah.
Tomori for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tomori's been one of the finds of the season so far. Sonny, what's our next question?
Right, next one is from Daniel, and
Big
I
up,
li-
Daniel.
I really like this one. Who should replace Klopp when his contract is up? And he says, for me, it's either Nagelsmann or Marco. Is it Marco Rose?
Marco Rose.
Yes.
That is a fascinating question.
Yes.
The thing is, when a big change like that happens, you don't know whether to go for a manager who plays in a similar style or try something completely new.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you try and replicate Klopp's style, you'll always come out second best.
Oh.
Like the amount he's got out of this squad compared to even someone like Nagelsmann, I'm not sure he'd get more out of it, or Marco Rose. So I don't know, maybe go somewhere completely different. It's got to be a really top level manager, hasn't it? But I'm quite enthused about the prospects of Marco Rose. I think like his progress with Borussia Mönchengladbach this year, he's got that front three really puttering. Marcus Thuram, Breland Bolo, and Alisson Play has been one of the form players in the Bundesliga so far. Pat, you probably know a bit more about Marco Rose's backstory. Do you think he'd work at a club like Liverpool?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously coming through the RB system, like you
Yeah.
have to be kind of switched on to like stats and kind of statistical analysis, like and tactical innovation, all those kinds of things. Like they've pioneered so many. I guess they find coaches that other people wouldn't take a chance on, and Liverpool obviously have an intelligent backroom staff, and you're expected to work with them. So they're no longer going to get the kind of old school manager, you know, who demands to be in control of everything. So somebody who comes from the RB system is probably not the worst idea for them. It's hard to say who it'll be next, given that we're
2 years away from
yeah,
it
we're a couple of
finishing?
years away from
Yeah.
it. So anybody could emerge between now and then. But you'd have thought that looking around, those are the two guys that they'd be thinking about. On the other hand, I'd be absolutely amazed if Marco Rose is available. I think that he will probably go to a bigger club before then. I think that next summer, I think Man United might be looking for a coach. Arsenal, I think, will almost certainly be looking
Maybe
for a
Spurs.
coach. Like Bayern at some point in the next couple of years, probably not now, but like maybe in a couple of years
Well,
we'll be looking for one. And Dortmund, I think, will be looking for a coach as well.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about Bayern actually, because Bild are reporting this morning that Kovac's job is under real scrutiny, and they're looking at Ralph Ragnick and Jose Mourinho potentially.
Jose at
Well,
Bayern.
Bill also report that Dortmund are interested in Jose
Yeah.
Mourinho.
everyone
So
wants
I
Jose.
mean, I hate both those ideas, but like I don't know.
I think Ralph Ragnick at Bayern wouldn't be the worst.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun, but I think they wanted Nagelsmann, and I still think they'll kind of want him.
They'll wait.
I think they'll actually go for Marco Rose next if he's available. Like just because having gone for Nagelsmann, they were interested in Nagelsmann, and Nagelsmann kind of made a real play for it. And I don't think they particularly liked it, that he kind of felt like he was like the anointed one. So I don't know. I think they might forget that idea now and go for Rosa. But I really would like Arsenal to hire him next summer.
A word on Mourinho though. I'd be really surprised if I think his job that he'll go to if he goes to anyone would be Real Madrid. If Zidane gets fired at some stage this season, because apparently Florentino Perez, big fan of Mourinho, kind of regrets getting rid of him in the first place. And people forget, it was a long time ago now, and I'm not suggesting that Mourinho is probably anywhere near the same level of coach, but Mourinho's Real Madrid were awesome. Like, they were such a good side.
Come on, make up for it.
Yeah, but
Make up for it.
Mourinho's Real Madrid was outrageously talented, like, and well balanced. Like the squad is horrible. Like it's all over the shop now. Like there are really good players in some positions, and in other places they're just like gaping holes.
Yeah.
Like
I just don't fully
just
subscribe
get
to
Allegri, man.
I just don't fully subscribe to the idea that Mourinho's done as a top level
Oh,
manager.
I think he is 100% done.
you
as a
think?
top-level
I
manager.
don't think he's done.
His Man
you
United
got him
team
at
was.
Spurs.
I mean,
don't you?
I have said it. I would like.
But that's not the top level, is it?
Whoa!
Well, shots fired.
1-0 to Pat.
Yes. No, I don't think he's done, but I don't think he's at the top level.
I can still-
anymore.
What
He
sort of
could go
level
in
of-
and do like a year. But
What
he's
sort of
not-
level of club do you think he'd be good at, Sam? Do you think he'd be like an AC
Bournemouth.
Milan?
Wolves.
Yeah,
Imagine
like-
Wolves.
I think he could do a job at like solidifying a team that's like I think he'll do a good job at the Real Madrid squad now, just because they're all over the place. Yeah,
Norwich,
but only for a year.
Wolves.
No, Daniel Farke is
Genuinely, I think Wolves will try and
Wolves
get
would
him.
be quite fun. I think it'd be an interesting experiment just to see.
I just don't think he's good, man. Like the one thing he used to be good at was building a defense. He could do it for 2 seasons and then he'd burn it to the ground. And at Man United, their defense was horrible for at least the last couple of seasons he was there. Like they're just.
I don't know.
He's
I-
a bad
I
coach,
I
man.
believed he didn't get any backing. Like he said that a lot in interviews.
What are you
lately.
talking
I don't
about?
think. No, I don't.
No,
think
he
didn't-
100
wanted him.
he
He wanted
100% got backing when he first got there, bro. He bought
lost
4
trust in him,
players.
didn't they?
He bought 4 players, and he said, "I've got 4
There
players
was
that
certain-
can win
there
me.
was other
That can win me
players
the
he said
league."
that he wanted. Like if he said he wanted a player like Maguire. He
That was
wanted
in his
Maguire,
last
didn't he?
season, but after you've had 2 seasons where they've bought 4 players for
Yeah.
you and you've not won the league, which they've clearly said is their main target,
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
not
at
going
the
to
end
trust
of the
in.
day-
And he also
everything that
wanted
you say.
Bailly, and he also wanted Lindelof.
I was about to say,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
he'd had 2 goes.
I think
at plus
by
30 million
is an
signings.
unfortunate scenario. Everyone thought that he was going to be quite good. I'd assume.
I didn't.
Okay, but even when like Man United, have they been great so far this season? No, but even when they've like had Wan-Bissaka out and have had to play Young, like they've still been actually fine
Oh, yeah,
in
Young was
defence.
good against Liverpool.
Like even in the Newcastle game, everyone's like, oh, they were terrible that game, and they were terrible.
Out
that
to
game.
him.
But did they give out loads of?
Oh,
He's off. He's got to be off.
let's
Oh,
go!
give it a yes! Come on!
Quincy.
Quincy. Oh, I love it. Look at him.
Talk us through that goal. So it looked like it was a shot from kind of
He's got
distance.
to be off though.
Took a
Why?
deflection. Kepa saved it, and Quincy Promes at the back post.
Kepa.
We'll wait for VAR.
Hang on, what's Kepa done?
Why are we even? Why would it need to go to VAR?
Because he was offside.
Did he? I don't think he did. It took a deflection and then it goes through.
I'm pretty sure
Here we let it go.
it definitely come back at. I don't know.
I'm
What
confused.
happened.
This
Show the
Okay,
replay.
this is 100%.
Right, talk us
not
through what
Kepa's
happened,
fault.
Pat.
Okay, so Hakim Ziyech
Oh,
cuts
he's
the
on.
ring. Bang,
No, he's
oh,
off.
I don't know.
I think he's
Oh,
off.
Oh, he's on.
No,
He's
No,
on.
no,
His
the
arm.
leg will keep him
His
on.
arm.
Yeah, look, it's nowhere
Sorry,
near
I
Kepa.
thought Kepa saved that.
So Ziyech gets to the corner of the box, essentially, has a big shot.
Oh.
It takes a big deflection, I think, off Tomori.
Off his back.
And
Oh.
goes at the back stick
That's
to Promes,
unfortunate.
who's sliding in and puts it in.
That is really unfortunate.
I think that is.
I think he's
onside.
just onside because of because Zuma's kind of got a wide stance, like at the back post. So I think his leg, if you're looking at the scoring parts of him, it would have to be
His
Tomori's
arm was
chest
out
or
of
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Martin
But your arm
Keown was on
doesn't
the
count,
sofa,
right?
he'd probably
No, I
say
mean,
that Tomori shouldn't turn his back.
Promise
but
his arm was out.
I'm not saying it. I'm just
I
think
never
that's
care
very,
when someone
I think
turns
that's
their back.
very unfortunate. Landed right at Promes' feet, but we are having a VAR
Um,
check. VAR.
Go! Offside! Yes!
Offside.
Come on, I told you.
Wow.
I told you that was
Alright.
off.
I'll be
Come on, hey,
surprised.
relax now, boys.
Oh, wait, where's the
That's
my
a
goodness.
warning.
I want to see the lines
That's a
drawn.
warning.
Where's
Yeah,
the
man,
line?
man,
I think that was
Kepa.
fair enough. I thought that was
Paint.
offside at the time.
It looked off. It looked off.
Yeah, I didn't think it was offside.
It looked off
Really.
still.
I mean,
I
what
think that
angle
is
was
offside.
That looks
No.
really onside.
That looks
He
he
looks
looks
like he's
offside.
level
Well,
with his...
they're up. Wait.
Yeah, look
Oh,
at
no,
it.
he's off. He's off.
Ooh,
He's off.
that's
Look at his arm.
So marginal.
His arm.
No, but your arm doesn't count.
No,
No,
but
it's not
it's
a
his
scoring
foot.
part.
It's his
Okay,
foot.
even his
They're on
foot.
his-
Yeah,
on
it
his
has to
arm.
be his knee or his
Oh,
shoulder.
you gotta love VAR when it comes to offsides. They got that spot on.
They got it spot on still.
When it comes to
Yes.
offsides, I think there's nothing
See, I
like
knew.
it.
I knew.
Oh, nervy times for this guy. Oh,
Wait, that's a
8 minutes to
warning.
go.
That's a
Sorry.
warning.
Can't do maths. 9 minutes to go till
he's
half time.
Daily Blind's crying.
Why is Dele Willian crying?
Oh,
No,
no,
he's
he's
not.
not
9 minutes to go
crying.
to
He's
half time, and we've got quite a game on our hands. So Ajax thought they'd taken the lead, was disallowed for
Slap.
offside.
Oh,
Tammy
get
Abraham's
grip.
doing a
Slap.
little bit of a slap.
Dirty.
That's good chest control. Though.
Filthy.
Was he's still very skinny,
Lampard
Tammy
needs to
Abraham.
touch
That's
isn't he?
championship.
In a couple of years, if Tammy Abraham really starts hitting the gym,
No, he
I
can't.
don't-
He'll
I
get
don't-
slow.
Yeah, he'll get slower. I don't want him to.
He'll get
but
slow.
a
He
little
just
bit
needs
more
to get
muscle.
stronger.
No,
just needs
because
to get stronger.
he's fairly strong, man.
He's
Like
fairly strong. but I
He's
think-
6'4". Like it's really hard to put on muscle to the point that you look extremely muscular.
Yeah, tell
Yeah.
me about it. I've been working
We
out for
don't know
years.
As a
We're
6'4" beast.
Oh, that's a warning though. That is a warning.
Yeah, too much space for Ziyech again on that right hand flank.
Oh,
but
come
he's
on.
been he's been
taking a shot
He's
from the
been pretty
corner of
he's
the
been
box.
pretty
He
he's
got
been pretty
deflected.
wasteful so far, but I think you need to
But he always is.
double down on him.
He always is. Like that is what Ziyech does. He shoots from absolutely
Anywhere.
everywhere.
Anywhere, yeah.
Like and everyone, we were saying before, what a great goal against Valencia. Basically the same position. Like that's what he does. You have to accept the fact that Ziyech's gonna lose the ball quite a lot if you have him, but he's also gonna do magical
played.
things the rest of the time.
Well played.
Oh, that was very
This is a fun game.
pinged it in.
Keeps
That makes-
on going back
enjoying
and
it,
forth,
isn't
man.
it?
It's not good. It's not comfortable,
it's-
bro. It's not comfortable.
I mean, it's comfortable for me because I don't care, but I could see how for you. Like,
I just want us to score first. If we score first,
well,
then I'm
yeah,
fine,
obviously.
You know what we want most of all though? For you to subscribe to Eurofootball
Hey,
Daily.
hey.
Yes,
Subscribe,
plug,
baby.
plug,
I'd
and
enjoy
hit that
lots of
notification bell to never
So
miss a
many
video.
times.
We are doing Total Football live streams every single game week, and we normally guarantee goals. I feel like there's going to be a few in this. How would you guys generally summarise the first half? I think it's been pretty entertaining, although you've had your
Scrappy.
nervy moments.
Yeah, scrappy. No team has really taken like control of the
Scruff
game.
of the neck,
Yeah, no
as
one's
they would
taken
say in the
control of the
BTE
game.
studio.
Chelsea just needs to be better, but Ajax have got into I'd say just a few more dangerous positions than Chelsea. So yeah.
Fair. Pat, how would you review it?
I don't think there's been a clear better side. Yeah, I think Chelsea have had a few opportunities that, like, with the right touch, with a little bit more composure, would have probably turned into big chances. On the other hand,
Oh, my days.
the defense, like, you can get through to the defense so easily.
This is
Oh, that would have been so good.
What a
Great.
challenge!
So
Great
good.
cover.
What a
That's
challenge!
first pick.
Get out!
well played.
Go on.
Get out!
It was a great move that led to a quick switch and then got fed in behind to Promes. Promes was just a little bit
Do
slow,
something now.
and
We've got
it
to
meant
do
actually
something
slid.
now.
Got a 4 on
I need
5
this.
at the
I
moment,
need
though.
this
Come
from
on,
you,
Hudson-Odoi.
Hudson. Go on.
That's a go.
Oh! Why you? Why, William? Why,
He
William?
must have heard a shout. He must have heard a shout, because otherwise you'd expect him to have an effort from there.
That's my
But
captain.
from one
Isn't
end
that
to
Mouse?
another,
Oh,
it's all kicking off here.
I'm
Ooh,
very
Wow,
Oh,
those are not real
jeez.
teeth. Not real teeth on Quincy
Them
Promes.
veneers.
There's a couple more chips if
serious
anyone wants them
veneers.
as well. That Wingstop.
They're
Oh.
yours, dude.
Was it Wingstop?
I
was
think you started
delicious.
eating mine instead.
Right,
Those
my
are
bad.
yours.
Thank you.
Oh my days, William, man.
I like that Ajax are still quite a good team minus their like losing.
Because
their
they
big
they
players.
play good. They
Sick
play good
manager.
football. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's good. They've got a good
Do
manager.
you reckon he could make a big move?
Yeah, I also think he'd be a candidate for Arsenal next summer.
Really?
Just-
That would make me worried about
Wishful
Arsenal.
thinking. He's got bigger dreams.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
do,
genuinely, I think.
do you not remember?
That's not a slight. Arsenal aren't in the contention for titles. I
do you
think
not
Ten
remember
Hag
Frankie
could
De
probably
Jong
take
saying that like his plan was to go to Arsenal and then to Barcelona, but
And just did he
Barcelona
review
came,
it and just-
Barcelona came straight
So
in.
that he could go straight to Barcelona.
Well, yeah, like you'd obviously go straight to the final one, but I mean, like
Over Ronald
people
Koeman?
still see Arsenal as like a good place to come. Nicola Pepe, whereas Josh Madger left Sunderland for Bordeaux.
it. Yeah, now he doesn't play, so should
So
have stayed in.
yeah,
League
he
One.
prefer not to play in
I think
Bordeaux.
he was sold a French
Than
dream.
play in Sunderland.
He was sold a French dream.
Isn't he French? Is he, not?
No, he's English.
Is he really?
Yeah, but he just doesn't play over there. But yeah, shout out to Sunderland. Beat Tranmere
Someone help him
5-0
then.
yesterday.
Did Did you?
Yeah, we did. Smashed them. 5 different goal scorers as well.
Yeah, but I mean,
Back into 7.
Hey, can we start
in
talking
League
about
One.
Sunderland, please?
7th in
Thanks.
League One.
Yeah, all right.
Wait,
Fair
no,
enough.
Don't diss League One.
A valid point. Although, yeah, actually, no, we'll come on to Southend later.
To Southend.
But we got a corner approaching the end of the first half. Entertaining, if slightly low on maybe outright quality, I would argue. But let's hopefully we can get a chance at the end of this for Ajax
This is what
potentially.
Chelsea just give me
break
so
the
much
deadlock.
Well, we got Brighton on New Year's Day.
Who?
That'll be fun.
Who? Oh, you guys do, right? Yeah. New Year's Day. Here we go.
Well played. Well played.
Sonny, let's get a
Go on,
question
go on,
to
son.
approach our
On your own. On your own, Mount. Go on.
Miles away. Bring it back.
That was awful.
Also, he-
Well
What's
played.
he doing
Okay,
here?
switch. Okay, give it to someone.
No, that's nice. Hold on to it.
Right foot. Ooh, well played. Well played. Drive now.
Right, Sonny, let's get a question.
Right, another Champions League related question. How far can Bayern Munich go in the competition?
I feel like
Did you see Hudson-Odoi there?
I feel like that
he's just
7-2
stopped.
victory over
just stopped.
Spurs
I'm actually
has
gonna. I might tweet him. You know.
has
Or
maybe
tweet Chelsea account.
sort of changed their perception. I think they're in the top 4 or 5 teams for the Champions League this year, Bayern, but I don't think they're in the top 2. I still say probably Liverpool and Man City are probably the favourites.
Yeah.
For what? For what?
For the
sorry?
Champions League,
Could
but I feel like
could Bayern
Bayern.
win it?
I mean, they've got the form player in the world right now in Lewandowski. I think he's got 36 in 36 in 2019, which is more than anyone else in Europe.
Their wingers now. Do you think
Gnabry.
they finally replaced
Well,
Ribery and Robben?
Gnabry's just getting better and better, and he's been absolutely outstanding at the start of this year. I think Coutinho's adapted to the team really nicely. Only issue is a couple of defensive issues. Luca Hernandez did his ankle yesterday in that
Well played, man.
win over Olympiacos.
Make it count.
And
Oh, wait.
Why has he shot?
Why the hell did he shoot there?
yeah,
As Piliqueta breaking into the box, gets to the top corner of the box, has I think 3 guys to aim at, and Alonso on the corner of the goal, on the edge of the box rather, and decides to just shoot. Why are they
Right.
showing this?
Man, we don't care about
They're
this.
showing
It's
the
our
offside.
chance.
It's already been agreed. Everyone agrees
done.
with it.
Oh my
the deed
days.
is done.
It's clearly
Nah.
offside.
Our decision making in the final third. has
But
been
just to
terrible,
finish
man.
on Bayern, Nicolas Sula's also out with an ACL injury. So
Oh, yeah.
their centre back options are Jerome Boateng, Pavard, and there might be a third, but I can't remember.
I still think they're probably like 5th, man. Like,
fifth favourites.
yeah, I think you have to put Liverpool and City up at around the top, then
PSG
and
maybe.
PSG there as well, and then I think you assume Barca are
Barca,
terrible,
yeah.
but you assume they'll get good because of Messi, and that's basically it. Like I mean, Atleti are pretty good, but yeah, they're definitely up there with the kind of Atletis of the world. I think that's basically it. I mean,
Yeah, and they've got Lewandowski. Man.
it's
That
a
guy will just
weak
score.
Champions League. I mean, I still assume that after a little while getting used to Sarri and once Rabiot's playing and Ramsey and everything, I assume that Juve will be better than this, but they've been. I mean, they've
So
been
bad.
Struggling, aren't
Yeah.
they? Well, they're not struggling, as
boring.
the table
I
suggests.
think
They're
it's
just
the
not,
format. It's
not
the
playing
format.
well.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of the top team, a lot of the teams are like they might be getting results, but they're not actually playing that
wasn't-
well. Like,
wasn't
that's
this
why.
the case last year?
That's
Like,
why
that's how
Bayern
we
is
got to
still
a final.
under pressure. Yeah.
Like City, obviously VAR. And
That's
stuff
not
like
true. You were good against City and you got a bit lucky. Like it wasn't because other teams were bad. Like I mean,
I'm not
Barcelona were
saying-
amazing
yeah.
against Liverpool
in
at
that
home.
first leg.
What can you do?
Valverde out there.
And Ajax were amazing last season. Like I don't think that's true at
Year
all.
of the underdog.
The year of the underdog, yeah. I hope Atleti do a bit better than usual. I've been quite impressed with them at the start of this year.
Yeah,
In
it's annoyed me.
in the way that they've managed to integrate like
Well
what was it,
played.
5 or 6 new players that have pretty much
Well,
gone
how
straight
they
into the line.
rebuilt a whole
Tell me,
back
drop
four
back
in one
this
summer.
Yeah, I mean they're certainly not entertaining,
Oh
but
my
I think they'll be
God,
pretty
this
hard to
Guy's
beat.
nuts, man. This guy
Hermoso's
shoots
played
from
pretty well at
really
the start of this year. Renan Lodi had a good game last night
Trippier
against Bayer
deserves a shout
Leverkusen.
out.
Trippier as well.
Does he?
Sadly, I mean he has been very good.
Is it upsetting for you to see Trippier perform on the big stage?
I'll be honest, I wanted him out at the end of last season as well.
I think that's
But
fair.
with,
I think it
with
was
a-
fair,
which
yeah.
is fair, yeah.
But with someone coming in though.
Yes, but but then I thought Oreo was going to have a big year this year, and he
You can't depend
started
on
off
that
quite
guy.
well,
You can't
and then
depend
he
on
just gets red cards, and
Hates gay
it's
people.
his discipline, which I thought
Yeah, he's too.
Pochettino would be able to
he
sort
lacks
out,
discipline
but
so
he
much.
He hasn't been able to sort him out, which he played okay last night, but again, last night was a bit of a
And
fake
I
performance.
feel like Walker Peters hasn't shown anything to suggest that he's even a Premier League level
he needs to
player.
get in the gym before anything. Like he's just very weak, and his decision making, like
I mean, it
over
feels
the
a bit
last
harsh to
two-
hammer a 20-year-old, but I just don't
Oh,
think
is
he
it?
looks
Yeah.
very good.
No,
no, it just he just hasn't showed the progression that I thought he would, and we definitely need.
I think everyone got excited.
He
'cause
needs to play,
He was
though.
pretty much called Kyle Walker,
good
but
God.
there's actually nothing
Gone.
to suggest.
Last
that
chance.
anyone
They're
like
not
Kyle
related.
Walker.
Either.
Oh!
Come on.
No.
Too flat. No, ever since Walker Peters got ripped by Dembele last season,
Yeah.
I can't look at him the same still.
Right, there we have it. Half time. It's 0-0 between Ajax and Chelsea. We're praying for some goals in the second half, but it's been a reasonably entertaining first half. But if you've just joined us, welcome aboard. We do streams like this every game week. Please remember to subscribe to Euro Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. Half time, let's get a couple of questions in, Sonny, and maybe you do some light entertainment as well. Maybe a rap battle versus Sam. Or
Absolutely do not do that.
maybe a
Absolutely do not do that.
maybe a dance off. Let's get some half time
No way.
entertainment.
I definitely want to be on this side if it turns into a rap battle. I can take Doogie.
Right, Sonny.
I think we
couple
should
of
go
questions
for a
first.
non-football question. Just,
Oh, nice. Yeah, mix it up.
Who is your current favourite music artist?
Ooh.
Music artist.
Burner Boy.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burner
Yeah?
Boy. Yeah. He's the best in the world right now. If you haven't listened to Burner
Best
Boy,
in the
go
world.
and listen to Burner Boy because that man is music in it. Right now, he's in his
music.
bag.
Doogie loves
one-
Burner Boy.
I do love Burner Boy. You know who I love at the moment? Niall Horan.
Why? Well, One Direction.
Niall Horan.
no! Oh, my, I didn't even know he's got something.
He has released an absolute banger. Have you heard Nice to
Yeah.
Meet You?
Not really.
Nice to meet you. Oh,
Oh,
unbelievable.
the rap
It's very
battle
good.
started.
Them One Direction.
I'm not aware of Burner Boy, to be honest, but I might check him out after the stream. Pat, who's your favourite artist in the world right now?
Oh, right now, I don't really know, man. Like, what have I been listening to recently?
What sort of music are you into, pal? I actually don't know.
I mostly listen to hip hop, man. I
Really?
grew up
I
listening,
didn't expect
That's a
that.
hip
And
hop
I-
guy still.
and I like R&B and soul and jazz. Like, but I don't know. I like the Charlie XCX's new album. I think that's good. I actually quite like Lana Del Rey's new album. I haven't listened to any new
Lana.
hip hop for a
don't
while.
do get emotional.
I love Lana. No, I'm not in the bath.
What hip
She's
hop
my
am I
bath
listening to,
music.
man? I don't know. I've been listening to old music recently, to be honest with you.
So have I.
Some new
so
age music.
I'm literally naming the only new music I've listened to in the last couple of months.
Snells is actually our office DJ. What have you been playing recently?
Oh, what about a bit of Rich Free 2? His new album's been quite
Good,
good.
yeah.
Very
yeah,
Is
good.
it?
It's
Very
good.
good.
Nah, it's
With
good. Have you
gigs as
listened to
well.
No.
The one
Nah,
with
it's good,
gigs,
it's
10
good.
out of 10 is
Yeah, banger,
10
banger,
out of 10.
banger.
That's what it says on the tin.
Hey, nah, he's good.
But I've been listening to a lot of. I mean, everyone knows my love for Drake and The Weeknd, which is very controversial in the office because
We
The
do-
Weeknd is
We
controversial,
hear
not
a
Drake.
lot of it.
Drake's fine. Everyone's fine with Drake. Drake. You know what? Drake is consistently a 6 or 7 out of 10. You know what The Weeknd is? One song.
Just floats.
Again.
Yeah,
What-
he's just
what
a
is that
float.
one
He
song?
irritates me, man.
It's the. What do you mean? It's
Oh,
just
oh,
like
you
the
mean
same-
oh, you mean it's all the
he's-
same song?
Okay, to be fair, that also applies to someone like Lana Del Rey. She makes the same song 10 times, puts
Oh.
out
Yeah,
an
this
album
song-
of
But
it.
that's why they work
lyrically,
together.
she
That's why
just-
But
they
if
work
you
together.
like that thing, that's fine. But I guess with The Weeknd, I don't like his voice. I find it really boring. It's like this.
Yeah,
I swear
yeah.
he's singing the same note for his whole
Every
career.
time.
It's like that's
That is
the
so.
same note.
The thing is,
so
I agree. The
annoying.
thing is, I
It's so
agree.
annoying. I want to like him, but I can't.
So we've got Burner Boy, Lana Del Rey, Niall Horan, and who are you
I'll go
again?
with Rich
Street
Free
2.
too.
Okay,
Jesus.
let's get another one in, Sonny.
What a list.
I know.
What a
You guys
playlist.
really need to
What
listen
did
to
that?
Niall Horan's new
That'd
song.
I'm
be a
not
good
gonna
band.
He's
listen.
normally like that. Slow Hands was a catastrophe.
I'm not.
But-
gonna
I mean,
listen.
what does that even mean, slow hand?
Slow
It's about love
hands.
making.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Oh, okay. I can't say that.
Right, next
You
up.
can say that, it's fine.
Let's have a look. Can Leicester or any other team break into the top 6?
Yeah, 100.
I think Leicester can. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
probably thinks that West Ham or Everton.
West Ham, if
I
they
mean, we
catch
talked a
form,
bit
they
about
could.
West Ham and Everton pre-season, but pre the season started. But I just don't see it happening anymore. I think Everton have been really disappointing. I think
they've
Marco
spent-
Silva's he just changes his team all the time.
hasn't got a clue.
What does Moise Keane have to do to get a regular run of games? Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not good.
He's
Bam!
so- he's so
How many
bad.
times? Do you know that really gets to me? You know.
What?
You
What, that I say he's not good?
No, I agree with
Oh,
you.
right.
He doesn't get a run of games.
Yeah.
Keane does not get a run of games, and Calvert-Lewin, yeah, he works hard, but he just
Is
doesn't
that
score.
thing of he gets
He's
5
not-
minutes and what is he meant to do? If he scores a goal, everyone goes, that's good. And, like, he's just not getting.
That's not even my biggest issue though. Like people like Walcott still playing. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I
your
think
boy.
I look at that
Walcott
team.
was good against West Ham.
Yeah, but I look at that team and I'm like, I want to see Richarlison, Iwobi, and Ken play together. I want
Yeah.
to see those
I
guys.
think
'cause
Richarlison is
that's-
a striker as well.
That's
like, maybe
such a
front
fun
two.
lineup.
Yeah.
Like Iwobi played 10 the other day and he was unbelievable because he's sick. And I just think like play those guys as a 2 and play Iwobi behind them and you'll score goals and then you can bench Gylfi Sigurdsson, who I'm bored of now. I think he's a fine player, whatever, but he's boring.
I think
He peaked
He's a
us.
much better
He peaked us.
finisher.
just
than
play
what-
4-3-3 as well because your midfield's so porous. Without Idrissa Gueye, get Andre Gomez in there, get Fabian Delph and Tom Davies, and then you might actually put some protection
Tom
to the
Davies
defence
needs
as
to
well.
get
I think
Tom Davies is such a League One Championship player.
I disagree. I like
No,
him.
he
I
isn't.
disagree
I think Tom
slightly.
Davies
I
is
think he's
good.
alright.
I think he's a bit of a baller.
I just don't think
I think
he's
Tom
that good.
Davies is a good player, man.
I think he's a confident.
Have they been
player
starting
as well.
that the Ivorian? Is it? I was going to go and pronounce
Oh,
his name.
Bamin.
Yeah,
He got injured.
He
in
got
like,
injured.
Oh, is that
got
what
injured
it
in like the
is?
first week.
Yeah, he got like a 3-month.
They have been
injury
pretty
straight out of the
unlucky
gate.
at points as well.
I mean,
but-
Andre Gomez, I was a bit critical of him because I called him once the Portuguese Mark Noble. But
He's not great.
against West Ham, he does a lot of sideways passing.
He's
which-
not a good player.
But
I maintain.
I mean, because we were linked with him. We were going to Tottenham were going to loan him when a season before Everton loaned him, and I thought he would have like complemented our midfield quite well, but I'm not really sure. He hasn't been as good since he was at Valencia. I'm not
And
seeing.
You need a Gay there to cover for like because he
That's
doesn't
a
have the
massive loss.
defensive
That's their massive
intelligence.
And I think he signed the contract thinking that he would stay as well.
Really,
Yeah. So he's gutted now.
I could see that because now you have to work.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you know that you've got just a
He's a
Gay
Gay,
behind you. You've got like genuinely one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe behind you. Gay has been like comically good at PSG.
Yeah, adding so much more to his
So
game.
good.
I mean, particularly in that match against
Such
Real
a good
Madrid,
player,
which is
man.
our
He's
first
a
live
stats
stream of the
bomb chart.
season. He was
His stats bomb
awesome.
chart is
He's so
mental.
good.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
He looks like the complete player.
Yeah.
Which is
I love Idrissa Gay.
mental. And
Good
he's
for him.
30 as well. We need more of him. Go on forever, Idrissa. Next question, Sonny.
Right, let's have a look. Who should win the Golden Boy Award?
Ooh, I feel like has it not been announced yet? I feel like that was,
No, they've just cut it down for the
Delete.
longest, the short list.
Yeah.
He won it last year.
Did he?
Yeah, I just feel like you shouldn't be allowed
Sancho
to.
then.
You shouldn't win it. I think Sancho too.
Sancho.
Like,
Yeah, I think Sancho.
but a lot of people have said Delict. Like,
I
but it
didn't know
just
he won it
feels like
last
you
year.
shouldn't be allowed to do it more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sancho or João
Sancho-
Felix
San-
on the year. Well, he actually only really had
Actually,
half a year.
João
Actually, no, if you do it on
Felix.
2019, is it on the 2018-19 season or is it on 2019?
I think that's calendar year, isn't it?
Is it
Yeah.
calendar year? Because then I think João
I
Felix
think
has
it's
got
on
a
wherever
very
you
good
want.
case.
I'd give it Sancho, man.
Yeah, Sancho or João Felix even.
I'd be happy with any of them. A shout out Guendouzi
Yeah.
as well because he deserves to be in there, which he is, which is good.
Your boy.
Same on awards. Who should win the Ballon d'Or?
Messi.
Oh, who cares, man? These awards are stupid. Just give it to Messi.
Yeah,
He's
just
the
give it
best
to
player in
Messi
the
because he's
world.
just the best player. Like,
He's the best player of
realistically,
all time.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
as long as he plays, just give it to
It was a
him.
very
I
apparently.
feel like because
Oh, I do like this Chelsea.
because
pick.
Van Dijk won
So-
UEFA
so
Player of the
good.
Year, he might win it, but it should be Messi every year, really.
Yeah.
I don't think Van Dijk.
not
It's going to be annoying when Ronaldo finishes with very close to the same amount of Ballon d'Ors as Messi. Because in 60 years, when we're all sadly not with us anymore,
not doing the stream.
Who?
as in when we're all dead, people won't remember that
Oh, I
Messi was
thought-
so much better
in
than
60
Ronaldo.
years, no,
You don't
I'm-
think you're
I'm
gonna
living
make it to,
long.
like,
60 years.
85?
I'm living
Well, I
long.
might make it to 85, but okay.
Living long.
Okay, 100 years. When we're dead, all I'm saying is people will think Ronaldo, oh, look at his record.
Yeah,
he must have been as good
especially
as Messi.
with the times
They
going
won't.
now.
I don't think they will though, because
Well, we've got to tell our children and got to tell them to tell their children.
But they'll look at his record and they'll be like, okay, so they said that
Where's match
Messi.
footage?
They said Messi was the best all-round player, and they said Ronaldo was the best goal scorer, and then they'll realise that Messi scored more goals than Ronaldo, as well as doing all the other stuff.
The other day when I was off, I heard there was a heated debate with one of our new people, Henry. I heard-
Henners.
Wasn't really heated.
Oh.
It was more like,
He was just.
why do you think that? That's mental.
But mostly he just thinks it because he wanted to be controversial.
Yeah.
I think
He just wanted
he's
to-
a stirrer.
Yeah.
You just got to not
I'll have a
let
stare
him.
or something.
Because I genuinely feel like everyone that brings that Ronaldo argument is just trying to be controversial, and the only stat that they will use is he's done it in different countries.
Yeah.
Fam, playing at the top level at Barcelona is not easy. We've seen players go there and not bang. So you can't tell me because Messi stayed at Barcelona that should mean because he hasn't done it anywhere else he's not good enough. No.
It's
And
not,
those
me,
are-
it's not me saying that like Ronaldo is better than Messi, but do you reckon his absence of a Champions League in the last couple of years is a factor that people use to say, well, Ronaldo's at
I think he
current form?
I just think that he hasn't played in the Premier League. I literally think that's it. Because the same people who say Ronaldo's done it in a bunch of different places are the people who say that Scholes is the best midfielder in the history of the Premier League.
Yeah.
And that Giggs,
It is
and
United players.
and
United
that,
fans
and
all
that
the time.
Giggs is the
So
best.
Joe
And that Giggs
Thomas.
is the best Premier League player like of all time. Like they're those same people, and you think, well, those guys just did it at one club. They didn't move around. They just stayed at one club doing the same thing year after year. But what they mean is Ronaldo did it in the Prem and he did it for United, and that's what they like.
Yeah, I heard someone on 5 Live say that Lewandowski wasn't a top player because he hadn't done it in the Prem.
Yeah, like
Nearly pulled out the remaining 3
But
strands.
Even
of my
Joe
hair.
lost his
Absolutely
mind.
mental.
Like, when people say stuff like that, it's just like, why do we have to make it? Like, we've seen him bang in the Champions League. We've seen him bang in
What more can he do?
the league. He scores
World Cup?
goals. Like,
He carried his team to the World Cup
Yeah, I know.
final,
I was-
and then
I
they're
was-
like,
I
"Well, he
was-
didn't win
I
it,
was
did he?"
stirring.
Like,
Yeah, annoys me. Anyway, Sonny, let's get a less annoying question in.
Oh, on the prize giving front again, but for Premier League, who do you reckon will win the Golden Boot this season?
Probably Aguero. I think that's probably the sensible shout. It's a bit boring, but
No, I
he's
don't
already.
think he will.
Is he joint top with Tammy at the moment? I can't see Tammy hitting Golden Boot levels of goals. Whereas I just see Aguero just continuing to get incredible chances. I think he's played phenomenally well at the start of this year. Again, just goes on and on.
yeah.
So yeah, Aguero is probably the sensible shout. I don't think it will be Salah or Mane in my personal
I'll
opinion.
go Aubameyang.
You go
I'd say,
Aubameyang?
Yeah, I think he's just gonna. Well, I say that
Even if Arsenal continue to be
if
we're so
Emery
bad.
carries on being mad, then it won't be Aubameyang in it. But
just put Özil behind
if
him.
they put us behind him,
Put
Aubameyang,
Pepe on the side. Put Saka on the other side.
What do you
Play Torreira and Guendouzi behind him.
What's
That's
going to
the
happen to
Win the league.
Ozil? What do you reckon is going to happen to the future of Ozil? Do you reckon he's off, or will Emery?
he's gonna outlast Emery.
Yeah,
so.
whoever's managing us next year will probably find a role for him.
How old would he be
What,
next
starting
year?
11? There's your
How
right.
old is he now?
31.
31.
Yeah.
Is he 30 now?
But it doesn't matter. Like,
It's got a
lot
bit
of time.
deeper.
the way he plays, like it doesn't particularly age.
No.
Like he's always had
He doesn't
good
need
stamina.
pace.
He's
Yeah.
never had particularly great pace. It just doesn't really matter, and his touch is going to be as good as ever. Especially in a game like the Sheffield game, where you're like, guys, we've got 3/4 of the ball. You know, like we've got them pinned on the edge of their final
They
third.
just needed that final ball.
Just bring Ozil
Yeah.
on.
We talked about Ten Hag earlier, but if he came into Arsenal, I can imagine him basing his side around Mesut Ozil. It would be awesome to see.
Ten Hag worries me. That's a worrying thought that I never.
Why, man?
What?
I don't know. I just think he's a good manager. I just think.
Oh,
you know,
it worries you as a
right.
Spurs
Oh
fan.
yeah,
That's
well
what you
yeah,
meant the other way.
like,
All right.
like I think that'd be a good
We're
acquisition.
talking Golden Boots though, Sonny. What about your main man?
Nah, he's struggling,
Son.
isn't he?
Yeah, Son or
To be
Kane.
fair, my dad said the other night he'd rather lose Kane than Son. Which
Yeah,
I think,
definitely.
Yeah, I think
Which
everyone
which
would,
at first I was like, but there's not
Actually-
many. There's not many other players like Son. I can't think
You
of another player like
cannot
Son.
lose Kane in it. Like realistically,
Like some-
that will do more to the team. More damage
Yeah,
to the
the
team.
squad-
I don't
Right,
think
right.
we'll lose either unless we get. I mean, I think for Son you're asking for like 100 million plus. I think he's.
Yeah, but you're asking that for Kane as well.
Yeah, true. But
I think you get more money for Kane.
I think Kane's going to
Just
be.
as he's got a big reputation.
Kane's going to be up there for the Golden Boot. I just think like last night he was back to his sort of best. He likes creating now as well. I've noticed he likes to. Like some of his crosses and Kane's passing is one of his like most underrated attributes.
I was
I
actually
feel like his all-round game's got so much better.
But Son last night as well
What?
was. He's just such a good player to watch. He's an entertaining player to watch. He's just and good with both feet. So that's all you can hope for really.
And before we get into the second half, Oba, have you got any? Sonny, have you got any thoughts rap-wise about the first half that you could just put into?
Oh,
Stop,
rap
no,
wise,
don't
I
do
can't do it
Don't
off
do
of a
this.
women.
Come on, you guys-
wouldn't. You know what it is?
claim to be the Lord of Rap in the
No,
office.
you know
I
what it is?
can't be a part of this.
On a normal
Alright,
day,
You
if there
said
was
you said Doogie, don't rap. I'm the king of it.
You don't
Oh,
get to
okay.
rap though.
no, if there was if I was
I
in
bet
the
you would
mood,
rap.
like if Chelsea were winning, I would give you a little something. If we win this game, I'm
No.
gonna
Yes.
give a little freestyle in it.
That's
No.
a promise.
On-
Shake on it.
Don't
Come
do it.
on.
Don't do it.
That'll be live stream history.
Big L didn't die for this.
That'll be,
No, absolutely not.
that'll be one of the Football Feast's top moments.
Full feast.
But before we get into the second half, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Euro Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. We've got 45 minutes of Ajax versus Chelsea coming up, and we are praying for some goals. Although there has been some action, we want some goals. Sonny, what is our next question?
And sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off, but what are the other scores as well? Because I actually haven't checked
Well, it's
anything.
Well,
the
them
early
started,
kickoff,
really.
isn't it? So I
No,
think
the
Zenit,
other scores.
Zenit were beating.
Oh yeah, it's the
Shall I get
early
them up?
kickoff. Oh yeah.
Zenit were beating Leipzig. I think that's the only
Were
one.
they?
Let me just quickly check.
Oh my
Let me
lordy.
get my Sky app up.
We need to switch it up.
Yeah,
I-
what-
the
would
thing
you
is,
suggest any
I
changes?
slightly want to see Pulisic in this game. You know, I think he will add something to this game. I really like Pulisic. I don't really like the fact that he hasn't been given that much opportunity, but I understand because obviously our attacking players
Zenit are
are
winning
performing
1-0.
well. But I just want to see him integrated more into the team, man, because he's a good kid. Good kid.
And Hudson-Odoi is not having his best day.
Yeah, he's not.
No, he's not. He's been slightly wasteful, disappointing. Because this must be one of his. It'll be his first Champions League game. Did he play against Lille?
No, he got an assist.
Oh,
He got the assist for the winner.
Yeah,
Didn't
no,
he?
Idiot.
he's got a goal and assist in these last 6-7 games.
He loves European competition, man. Like in the group stage last season,
He was
the-
great
like,
for
he was
Europa.
unreal.
wasn't
Europa,
he?
he was probably like the player of the group stage.
But I think he know. That's what I'm saying. I hope Lampard just gets into them. You haven't made it yet, innit? Like we need you to work first, and then your skill will come through.
Do you think with the context of the group, they'd take a draw away at Ajax?
Yeah, 100%.
But as a fan, you'd obviously never.
Yeah, I want to win, but if we draw this at this stadium, then I'll be.
What would that be? 4 points from 3 games. You tend to go through with about 10, sometimes even a bit less.
Yeah.
So
This is a tight group. This is
This is a
particularly
really
group.
tight
They're
group.
all like similar teams to a
No
certain
one really
extent.
said
Like
anything
young.
about this group. No one said that how tricky it was. And it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think it's because they're all
Jody.
very good sides without like one exceptional side. Maybe. So similar level sides. I think it's a fascinating group.
Come on, boys!
What will be happening in the
I
Valencia
really want Real
Lille
Madrid
game
to be
later?
in this
I
group.
don't want Chelsea to win
All
now because I
hazards
don't
on
want
the
Sam to rap.
Oh,
Okay, I
Oh,
won't
come
rap. I won't rap.
on.
I won't rap.
Right.
I won't rap.
It's
Just
not. It's
be on our
nothing
side.
against Sam. I just think rap should be left to the professional.
Hey, well, you've heard
you
a
heard
couple of
something?
freestyles,
You're
man.
actually a bit
Like,
offended.
I'm-
I've only heard one.
I'm
Today was
real-
the first time I heard you
You
rap.
did back
I'm
in
real
yesterday.
decent. Like I'm real decent. You're gonna hear a song.
I'll do the beat
Yeah,
for you.
but there'll be a video that. Oh my god! Oh my god!
How's this become a thing? Views have gone up since that battle.
Oh, that really
Welcome
It
to
really
the
upset
second
me.
half of Ajax Chelsea. If you've joined us for the first time, that was just me doing a bit of beatboxing. That won't be happening anytime soon. But please remember to subscribe to EuroFootball Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. Looks like we don't have any changes on either side so far. Sonny, what about our first question of the second half?
Well, I've got to highlight one of the comments. Someone said they came here for good football chat, and we're talking about Lana Del Rey. So,
He's got a point.
Welcome aboard. Take the rough with
Lana
the
Del
smooth.
Rey Daily. We're launching soon. So obviously Isco's future is a bit up in the air. He's a bit
Yes.
out of favour at Madrid. So where should he go?
Well, today's transfer talk suggested that Daniel Levy was looking at him as a
Oh,
potential
really?
replacement for Eriksen.
Nice.
And I feel like if you can get rid of a very unhappy Eriksen, who actually hasn't played that well, at least consistently well this season, and bring in a player of Isco's quality, who's the same age, that is a no-brainer.
Isco's not to Spurs.
But I just can't really,
He's
I
just
can't really
not-
see it happening.
Isco's.
I think he
That's
will.
like breaking my heart early doors.
I think he might well. I think he might well leave.
Yeah, but he won't go Spurs. If he looks at England, Spurs is probably like one of the last teams.
Where would he go realistically? Though?
City.
Well, he's
He'll
been
go
linked to
Leicester.
City
He'll
as
go
well,
Leicester
man.
over.
He
City
linked
is
to
saying
City for
goodbye to
years.
David. Yeah, but they were most of those years when Pep wasn't there, and now David Silva's leaving. Like, it's
But what about
perfect.
Phil Foden?
Perfect
Who
time.
cares?
No, I know.
about
I had
Phil
to say that. I had to
Stop
say
saying
that.
who
I
cares,
only said that
though.
because of Pat.
Who
Because
cares?
Foden is a
He had a
baller.
No,
Gucci
he's
cake
not.
on
And
his
yesterday
18.
he was balling.
Deserved the red card.
Nah, he didn't.
Got sent off.
That was
Idiot.
silly. Oh,
I don't know, man.
Good
Like,
header
I don't
from
care about
Zexi.
English players. Like, the only English players I like are like ones from London. So like that's
Oh, big
I
up.
ca- weirdly I don't care, weirdly I don't care about English players, but I do for some reason like really root for kids from London. Like
Oh, you must love Harry Winks,
and I
then.
guess Kent as well because like this is the area I've kind of grown up in my whole life. So I'm always really excited about like particularly Arsenal youngsters and like even some of the Chelsea boys as well.
And Gillingham.
and
Big up.
Sancho too. But I just can't. I can't get behind Phil Foden, man. Like
He's
Nah.
such a baller. Go
nah,
on.
he
Oh,
needs
I
to be.
like Phil.
Ref!
Whoa,
Give him a yellow.
Whoa, this is
Give him a yellow. That is disgusting.
Off. Oh.
Was he trying to feign an injury? Get up.
No, that probably hurt him as
No,
well.
because I have a lot of respect for Tadic.
It was quite a brutal foul, to be honest.
Tadic, I mean, what a turnaround. He was like fantastic
Don't.
for, was it 2 years at Southampton?
Yeah, he was
then
really
had a
good.
massive drop off. Well, actually, not really a massive
He didn't
drop-off.
play much
Wasn't
under Koeman,
used as
right?
much,
Yeah,
exactly.
he got benched a lot.
And then went for, was it 12 million to Ajax? And last year, I think it was over 40 goal contributions in all competitions.
That's dirty,
now
man.
nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Started this year in exceptional form as well. Like, fair play to him. I've never seen a turnaround quite like it. I mean, we talk about the dramatic decline of someone like Christian Benteke. Tadic, just new lease of life over in Holland. Like, full credit to him. I think he's
Who's the
really
manager
exciting.
who
player.
neglected
It does help
Was
going
it
to
Mark
Mark
Hughes?
Hughes,
who
yeah.
neglected
Like, much worse.
But he turned it on the Champions League.
No,
last
I
year.
agree. I think Tadic is a great player, but like it does help playing in the Eredivisie.
Like doing
Our
having
Dutch fans
having to have that
give him
like,
some hell.
that level of performance, like let's say every 3 weeks in the Champions League, is much easier than having to play in the Prem and then going to have to replicate that same performance in the Champions League. So, you know, he's doing good.
His numbers make more sense this season though, because like last year he looked like when you looked at his numbers, he was, and even the way he played, he looked like a really good creator, but he was getting more goals than assists. It was really bizarre, and a lot of that was penalties. Whereas this season he's got 6 goals and 8 assists, and he's got like 4.5 key passes a game, which is like an unheard of number really. And that's really what he's been his whole career. Like he always was a creative player. Like when he was at Twente, and I don't know. I just still always find it fun that he's playing alongside Ziyech, because Ziyech is the guy that Twente signed from Heerenveen to replace Tadic when Tadic went to Southampton, and now they've both ended up playing together at Ajax. So it's kind of no surprise that Ajax have such a ridiculous attack, given that they've got 2 really elite creators in that team.
Yeah, it's hugely exciting.
Well played, boys.
Although,
That's really good.
this season we've seen Lampard use the 5 at the back at times, and when they put up the lineup pre-match, that's what they suggested you were going to play. What have you made of your side when you played 5 at the back? Do you think it gives quite a good options? Because you do have some strong wing backs.
It's good for Alonso.
Might be good when Reece James comes back.
Yeah, it's good for Alonso mainly because he doesn't really like defending and he always needs cover. And he literally always needs cover. But I don't know. I just prefer.
Oh, go on.
I just prefer four at the back. But it makes sense for when you have to fit in Alonso in the side, because if genuinely, I think he's the main reason we play like that, and it works for our favour because he's actually very good going forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think one of the best I've seen you play this year was against Wolves. I think you won 5-2 and you were pretty unlucky to concede 2. That was a really good performance. And that was with 5 at the back. And it was one of Tomori's first games. And that was the game like he stepped up from 35 yards and just hit one first time into the top left. And I was like, wow, this guy has quite some confidence.
Yeah.
Ajax is so aggressive, man. When the ball, next time Chelsea pass the ball backwards or the ball goes backwards.
Go on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, nice little spell that from Chelsea, Sam.
That's really nice play.
Oh, Mason Mount getting in a good position, and then I think it was just blocked. It's a nice little ball from Alonso down the line.
He's genuinely so good going forward. I wish he just had a bit more pace. So he wouldn't be that bad.
I feel like Mason Mount had quite a quiet first half, but he's looked pretty. He's got into some promising positions in the second half so far. Took a shot, got into that good area there. Corner for Chelsea. Do we have our first goal? Oh no!
Oh,
another one.
Is that another corner?
Another corner.
I'll take it. The thing is with Mount, when he's like, it's not necessarily he's not playing well, but because he kind of floats, and if we're in a game where we're not dominating, you'll think that he's not really in the game. You just need to get him on the ball, and he'll do some magic, man. Yeah. Because that guy's.
Is he 4 goals in 8 games?
8 games, yeah.
Over 2 key passes, over 2 shots, over 2 dribbles, like very solid numbers.
I think people saying that he's overhyped and stuff, and it's like he's not overhyped. He's balling out. He's balling
really
out
as well.
Like he's a serious finisher. He makes brilliant runs, and he's a good passer, and he's smart on the ball. When he first started, like you could tell he wasn't used to the Premier League and to the physicality of it. But now he seems at home, man.
I mean, it's it's a hugely, I don't quite as an understatement, hugely exciting time to be a Chelsea fan. Oh, but when you get your ban, when the ban finishes in next summer, where would be the first area you'd look to strengthen?
We need a striker.
Another striker.
I do have trust in him. However, I just want
to
see the striker. Yes,
well played.
Aspie.
Great cover from Aspie.
Azpilicueta had such a good game, man.
Yeah, that block in the first.
Go on,
half. Go on, Tammy. Hold this up.
Just drive. Just go.
He's
go.
fast,
go.
Man. Yeah, just go.
Keep going.
Make a bit more of an effort to get up with him, man.
Yes.
How did he get that?
Come on. Hudson. I'm actually going to lose it, Callum.
Oh my
I'm going to call you by your first name now, dog.
His mum.
I'm going to call you by first. Go on, Million.
That's a hell of a ball.
Here we go. Go on, Mason.
Oh, my.
Don't know why I thought Ajax were going to win, but I'm actually slowly really just rooting for Chelsea now in this.
Yeah, I think we need a striker. I'd say we need a left back. We need a left back.
Even if you don't rate the options of Emerson.
What about Baba Rahman? Call him back.
Yeah, exactly. Get Baba Rahman back.
Where is Baba?
Schalke still.
Nah, I'm hearing that we're negotiating or we're having talks with Chilwell. And I think that would be amazing.
Really?
That would be.
I would be amazed if you managed to get Chilwell, I'm afraid.
I feel a bit bad for Emerson.
Chilwell should go City.
I feel like he's got City written all over him.
Yeah, but they're not going for him.
Are they not? They're
No, no,
constantly,
What are they
I'm saying
doing?
they're constantly linked with them.
They were linked with him this summer and they didn't do anything. I think if Chelsea just went in hard, like it just said, right, okay, 50 mil on the table.
Yeah, that's
we're
the
gonna
level
go
that
for it.
it's
I don't see why.
Yeah. I
Like,
also
happily
saw
goes
you
to
linked
Chelsea.
with Jose Gaia, the Valencia left back.
That'd be fun.
But
Oh, yeah,
I think Chilwell's a step up on that. On him, I should say.
I
Defensively,
genuinely don't
definitely.
think we need that many players, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's quite
I
exciting,
think-
isn't it? Maybe some more forwards. With William
Another
being,
winger, yeah,
William and
Pedro.
Pedro being 31,
Yeah.
30.
Long
I
term,
think
another
another
centre-back
creative
as well.
midfielder wouldn't.
Yeah, I think a really.
Barkley's not
Ref
that good.
agreed.
They do have Rudiger to come back. Like,
You
they
don't
should-
actually have a 10 though.
Yeah, that's
Like
what I
Mount
mean.
doesn't really play like a 10. He doesn't really create. Like
Lucas
he gets
Piazza.
shots. Like so you could do with a guy who's a bit more, who's a different style of 10, who's like
Yeah.
a pure creator.
I feel like because all their young players have hit the ground running so well,
No one's
their
really talking
squad
about
now looks
transfers.
really.
No one's talking about transfers.
It looks really complete. Well, not really complete, but a lot better than we thought it would be.
Yeah.
More depth than everyone.
so
thought we
much
would
more
have.
depth.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I think people did.
exciting.
Loftus-Cheek is
They
still
were winning
coming
all
back
the
as well,
FA
like,
Youth Cups.
Rudiger.
I
It
mean,
was always there.
Rudiger, Reece James is
I mean,
there.
Sonny,
Emerson.
But we can't take up the rest of the stream with this question. But as a Spurs fan, in January, are you looking to mainly offload some people? I imagine. Are you trying to? Would you cut your losses on the players that want out?
I'd
Good
get rid of Eric Dyer as well. He needs to leave. He's
Fair.
at Burnley level.
No one's going to buy him.
I mean, well, Southend can have him if they want him. And I think we just need to
Jerry's gonna come on.
we
and
need to
score.
rebuild a back four, but you can't do that in January because you're just going to
Yeah.
get. And I would have liked us to see. I'd like to maybe get
God.
another midfielder.
My, oh
A
my.
defensive midfielder would have been good.
See the
Yeah,
lack
no
of
idea.
control.
Like,
Yeah,
or someone
no
to
idea
complement Ndombele.
I feel like someone you could get in January who would maybe, well, at least from the start of next season, instantly improve that back four. Who's Spurs
Mustafi.
level? Is Nathan Ake. I think you could
Yeah.
get
Oh,
Nathan
no.
Ake.
We
in
have been
January.
linked to him.
I really like Nathan Ake.
I want
He's
you-
going to cost 40 mil, which
Do you think he's
is
going to cost as much as that?
yes, of course.
Yeah,
they
yeah, he will.
they,
I think he's
they,
like
they,
35
were asking
now.
for like 75 in the summer. There's no way you get him for 35.
That's excessive
Like,
thing I've ever
and he's
heard.
not worth more than 35. Like
No, I think he's like 40 max. Yeah.
I think he's at his level. Like he could maybe go a little bit higher. Like as in if he was at a Leicester, that would be fine. But I would
Tell you
not
what,
put him in a top six.
I'd like
top
us to
six
go
five.
for
I like Nathan.
Sionku from.
I
Leicester.
also think Jerry's still out on him.
Oh!
I think he's been quite overrated. so
He's
far
only
this
played
season.
like 9 games.
And also I think like he's getting serious protection. Serious protection.
Well, that's
Yeah,
that's another
Ndidi's
player.
on, like,
I'd-
over
I'd-
8 tackle
I'd love
interceptions,
I'd
isn't
love Ndidi as well. I think Ndidi.
Yeah, I mean, who in the world doesn't?
Ndidi and Ndombele and Winks.
What was that for?
I
Next
don't.
level.
I think Suyunchu and Evans have been getting a lot of praise for things that other people have done
I
so
mean,
far
Johnny
this
Evans
season.
literally fell over the other day. So
I mean, seriously, like the
Drive.
fact
Drive.
that Johnny Evans managed to get away with that when he just fell over, like
Didn't
that
touch
should.
him. Didn't touch him.
If a top 6 defender did that, we would talk about it for the rest of the
well,
season.
apparently we're linked to go back
going
into
on?
Dybala, but I think that's a load of just.
I think his image rights make it so complicated to get him out at least mid-season.
It's just too expensive.
And also
too
he's playing
expensive.
well right now. Like got 2 goals last night, got them a win.
2
Like
excellent
started in their biggest game of the season away
Against
at
Inter,
Inter.
got a goal.
Like, I don't know. I still think
I
there's a
don't-
place for Dybala.
Yeah, I don't think Sarri's going to get rid of him, unlike what we
He's a
thought
baller, man. He's a
in
baller.
the summer.
They'll
When it
regret it
looked,
straight
looked
away.
like he was minutes away
Yeah.
from a move at one stage to Spurs and United, wasn't it? Right, Sonny, next question as we approach the 60-minute mark. Still praying for a goal.
This ref is boying it though.
So someone called a real football fan just
Yes.
keeps commenting, has Hazard been a flop? So on the back of that, I'll just make a question up. Who's been the biggest transfer flop so far?
We can talk about Hazard
I
though.
think
I
we
mean,
can
probably
yeah,
is.
I mean,
Probably
you
is
think-
Hazard so far.
For the
He's
price
not
he
been
went
good.
for, he's not been at his level, has he? I mean, even last night
He hasn't even been good, man.
rounded the keeper and hit the bar. I think he showed glimpses in the last month that he was coming into sort of Hazard-ish
He
form.
seems nervous, man, and I feel really bad
Still looks
because
quite
Shouldn't
shy.
he left you? Just forget about him.
he wants to enjoy football, but he needs to understand that playing for Real, you have
Oh my God.
like,
FIFA
much
cover
more
star.
pressure.
Come on, Ajax.
And even the assist that he got yesterday for Cruz's goal, he should have taken it. Like a confident player, a confident Hazard is scoring that.
I also don't think he meant to pass it to.
So he
Cruz.
didn't?
He meant to pass it to Benzema.
A confident, like he was on goal. Like, ref,
Yeah.
are you not going to give a foul? Oh, my
I think.
days.
I think.
See you later.
I don't think.
No, there's nothing.
Ooh, I don't think Delict has been a flop, but I don't think he's played as well as he did last year. Who else has
Ooh,
been?
Delict. Pepe, what people say.
Joe Linton, maybe, but it's a bit hard,
Delict.
isn't it, with the
Come on.
Newcastle
No,
What's he
Joe,
gonna
Joe
do?
Linton is
It's
terrible.
40 million.
Yeah.
But what's he going to do?
I don't think
He
he's.
saw
I don't
one
think he's.
goal.
He's getting no
I don't think
service.
he's terrible. He's not had any chances. He can't. Can't do it all himself. He's often up there by about, there's about 60 metres, and it's him and Sam Maximin.
We're yet to see Lo Celso play any meaningful football, but I wouldn't call him a flop, but obviously we're just yet to see him contribute in any way.
But last night he got 10 minutes. I mean, didn't show much.
Oh my days! That would
What a
have
header.
that would have been Tammy as well.
Oh,
We're so
flying
bad
header.
from set pieces.
Oh my God.
It's not gone
don't
yet.
let him. Love that Zuma. Love that. Good defending.
Wow.
Good defending.
I thought last year after Zuma's loan spell, I thought he wouldn't come in and be as good, but he has impressed me.
He's
He's got better, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like the United
Go
game
on.
is very shaky.
Well played.
Good
Good hands.
save.
Good hands.
Another save for Kepa.
Good hands.
They did that in
Well,
training.
that
They
means-
did in
that means the
training
next one
week
goes
in,
in.
week out.
Edson Alvarez with the flying header. Pat, talk us through this. Who gets a...
So it's just near post. He just gets the run on Tammy. I mean, to be fair, if it had gone in, it would have been an unbelievable goal. It's such a tight angle, and I don't know. It's one of those ones where because the angle's so tight, if it had been on target, it's possible Kepa would have been able to save it because the angle would. I don't know. It's just a difficult one, but yeah, off the post.
Yeah, we're seeing Kovacic was briefly touching his knee there. Sam, as we approach 60 minutes, are you looking to make any changes if you're Lampard?
I'm telling Pulisic to warm up.
Yeah.
If I'm Lampard, I'm telling
Who
Pulisic.
are you taking him on for? Is it still Hudson-Odoi or Callum, as you now calling him?
Callum, I'll
CHO.
tell him to. I'll tell him to come.
Cal for
I'll
sure.
tell him to
Cho.
come to the sideline, and I have. If you don't lift your game in the next 2 minutes, you're off in 5.
2 minutes.
In the next 2 minutes,
I'll
you're
be
off in
honest,
5.
I
It's
feel
got to
like-
that
I feel like
situation, is it?
Pulisic
What? So if you
should be in
don't
that
lift your
transfer
game in the
for-
next 2 minutes,
In it-
then you give him 3 minutes after
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
To
I'll give
still
him-
be rubbish.
Yeah, I'll give him 5 minutes to lift your game, and I'm not talking on the ball. I'm talking off
He's
the ball.
only 18.
It doesn't matter, bro. You're a senior player for Chelsea now, and you're.
You can't. I don't think you can look at it that way.
I don't think he's played atrociously, though.
He's not played well.
He's not
Probably,
played well.
but he has been your most wasteful player.
Yes.
Yeah, no one's saying he's bad, but it's just
Willian
look at
doesn't
this-
show much.
It's quite interesting. Donny van der Beek is now posting
Off,
himself
ref,
much
put
further
the line up.
forward. No, it's
Put the
onside.
flag up.
It's onside.
Exactly,
Donny van der Beek,
man.
free back.
Stop waiting.
What?
The
No, it's
hell?
the thing. They have to do that. In the
No,
They
you
wait
don't.
for the,
And Champions
they wait
League
for the
have
play
to
to
wait.
Is it?
continue.
Yeah, because if they score, then they go back and have a look.
But
But
what I was
So then
saying
it's
is,
weird that
that's
when he
weird.
passes it back.
Donny van der Beek was very much playing as part of a midfield three there, but even before that ball, even before they won the
It's
ball
clearly
back,
off, though.
he was posting himself much further forward, closer to Tadic and Quincy Promes. So it might be a tactic from Ten Hag to try and keep Van der Beek a little bit higher, maybe drop his other central midfielders a bit deeper and really go for the throat here. Because if Ajax go 3 out of 3 in the league, in the Champions League, then they're pretty much qualified.
Ajax have they've struggled often to get out in the first phase, to get out of their back line. But when they do manage to complete that first pass, suddenly they're quite often 4-on-4. And I think if they had a little bit more pace, or if Chelsea's defenders were a little bit slower, they'd be in serious trouble. So I feel like he's not obviously super fast, but I feel like David Neres could have a role here, just because Tomori's not gonna. Tadic is not going to run away from Tomori. There's just no way.
Yeah, I feel like both sides' build-up has been pretty good, but it's just the final ball has often been lacking.
They're both sick.
We've seen both sides really hold the ball
Outrageous.
up in nice areas, but here we go. As
Here
for
we
the
go.
question on the charge, can we
This is dangerous, man.
get something from here?
Please
Out
do
to
something.
Willian. Tammy
Good-
Abraham
good
going near post. It's a
interception,
good
man.
block, really good block. Sonny, as we are approaching the 62nd minute, let's get a little question in there.
Who do you think will be relegated from the Premier League this season?
Newcastle 100%.
Norwich.
Yeah,
probably.
Newcastle, Norwich,
Hopefully not Norwich.
and-
I don't
United.
get Watford, to be honest.
United.
and United.
Watford.
Really?
Oh, imagine if that happened.
I thought
Old
if
Trafford
that
is
ever
Oh, no,
happened,
I can't
fam,
think. I
Man
can't think
U
about
killed the
that.
badge.
I'm genuinely too excited. I've got goosebumps thinking about that.
What are you doing?
It's a foul. That's a
Alright,
yellow.
but you see what I mean. You see what I mean about Callum. You see what I mean now. He's taking it too far. He's getting a bit too. He needs to look. Even tomorrow, he's getting onto him. Fix up, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They look looking by their body language, Chelsea look really disappointed with how this game is going.
What do you should they?
So dumb. You just do the roulette and
unnecessary.
someone else walks off with the ball.
It's so unnecessary, man. Just play the game properly.
Oh.
Such a baller when he just thinks he's just focused about scoring and working. Man.
Yeah, we were talking about relegation before. I feel like I don't get Watford, to be honest. I
think Watford are all right, man.
I think they'll probably be okay. They've
long as
they've
they-
shown
as long as-
recently. I think they played pretty well against
Yeah,
Spurs.
they were.
Oh,
awesome.
safe hands.
They were pretty unlucky not to beat. They were very, very unlucky not to beat Arsenal as well. A couple of results here and there, and Watford probably wouldn't be in the mire that they are. But I feel like Norwich are conceding
I
too
think
many
Watford have
shots.
got an awful manager.
Newcastle don't have a good enough attack. Well,
Watford.
Kike, yeah.
He's not good enough.
Oh, he's fine defensively.
Bloody good
though.
looking.
Like, he's not bloody
His
good looking.
looks have
He's
gone. a little bit.
gorgeous.
He's
Is it?
not.
He is greying
He's
slightly.
fine.
He's getting
Also,
very sweaty as well.
I don't.
Because they're losing.
I
He
think
wears
Norwich.
jumpers.
I
that's
think
why.
Norwich could
It's
stay
not
out.
cold enough yet.
Daniel Farke is actually quite a good manager. Like they play good football.
He's a good coach.
It's just
See you later.
Oh, nah, Zuma's catching him. Yes, my guy.
That's good cover.
Well
Norwich's
Nah, yeah,
problem
more
is they
time
just
there.
don't have. They're
Oh,
not Premier League.
well
players.
played.
Aspie, come on, what are you doing there?
Whoa, the feet.
That was good.
Sorry,
Oh,
Sonny,
the
you're
feet
saying-
again.
That's fine.
Ref, go on, give it.
Oh,
Ref!
There are so many bodies, man. Their,
There's a
their
lot
bodies
going on.
everywhere.
Tammy's out. Is that Tammy?
that was a lot to process. About the ball changed hands about 4 times.
What?
there.
Go on, just book everyone.
What for descent?
No, the foul.
For the foul? Okay.
I didn't really even see this.
I
I,
didn't
was
think it was
watching the
that
ball.
bad.
I mean,
Who is
someone,
it
foul
that
on
stands? Is it
Georgie?
Jorginho?
someone
Georgie
needs to have a
Boyle.
word
He
with
Boyle.
Jorginho about his facial hair because it's rough.
It's got
It's like
a
one.
lot of
I
strapping
love
on his wrist
Jorginho,
as
man.
well.
So patchy, man. He looks like an untrustworthy, like,
Oh, in the face.
I don't know. He's got a little bit of the Pedro thing where he's like a guy who
Bit
pretends
ratty.
to help the hero in a western, but then betrays him.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
That is such.
So he
a
leads
funny
him into an
energy.
ambush, and he's got
Yeah,
really
see-
thick
oh
Mexican
my
accent.
days.
He's listening to you. He's
Oh
listening.
my days! And if he takes Hudson-Odoi off, I really do feel lamps.
Do you feel like?
Because sometimes these players need to learn.
Do you feel like by the end of the season, Pulisic will be first choice, Sam, or? do you think maybe
I
it's-
think he'll be in and out with Willian.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Willian's
think he'll be
terrible.
in and out with Willian.
Hudson-Odoi
Bloody
or
hell.
Pulisic.
It's absolutely
Pulisic.
huge that.
That's called a hell.
That's an outrageous ball.
That was such a ball.
What was wrong with that?
I think Pulisic doesn't look like a. He looks so sourceless. Like that, I think is one of the
okay.
issues.
He's got no drip. That's
Like yeah, like you look at him and you think you look like the world's
Are you
dullest
mad? Are
man.
you seeing that tap,
I
bro?
think
That's
he's quite good
personality.
No, but look at his hair though.
That's
Like
a
you look
generic.
at his hair.
He's
and
just
you're
gone
like,
into
no
the
way.
tattoo parlor and said, "Can I have a generic
And,
sleeve?"
and also, and he looks as well like he's washed his hair and then just like
Just
walked
left it,
out.
yeah.
And whereas Hudson-Odoi does not look like that, and so that's how you know Hudson-Odoi's going to be a
Okay.
There's
leader.
only one person I
You
know
know-
who doesn't dry their hair, and it's Zach.
Well, yeah, but I
He
mean,
broke that news.
You
to
know
me.
who
his
needs
hair's
to-
going to do what it's
If
going
we're
to do.
talking
He's got
about
no
washing
control.
hair, we need to talk about Kepa. He needs to wash his hair.
Yeah.
It is
And
so
Emery.
greasy.
It's really long though. It's really long. He's growing it out. He's going for the Emery.
Oh, the Emery.
Oh,
Don't never go
good.
Emery.
Thanks for the
Bad
Emerys.
evening.
Like he's popularized the disgusting like
must be a
seabird
Spanish
found in
thing.
an
It must-
oil slick.
It must be a Spanish thing.
Like, he's like he looks like when you were a kid and you'd see like a thing and it was just like, oh, you know, there's been a tanker that's crashed, and look at all these seals covered
Please
in
don't
oil.
name
yeah. It was basically
Yeah.
when BP.
I would take one of those seals as Arsenal manager over Emery.
I'd rather have been born
Idiot.
completely hairless than have Emery's hair, I think.
Everyone would rather you'd been born.
I'm
completely
pretty much
hairless,
born
It's
completely
brown at
hairless,
the
to be
moment.
fair.
That's not true.
Well, yeah,
No,
at
but-
least,
Just
at
say
least
you're
on the head.
hairless.
At least on the head.
you fuck-
But all I'm saying is
Come on.
I just, yeah, I think it's hair.
This is the irony of you, Dukes, that you've got hair everywhere except on your head.
I know.
I've literally.
What
only
can you
got
do?
hair
I
on
need
my
a
head.
Pritt stick and a spare
I don't have hair on
afternoon.
my arms or my legs or anything. Man. It's mad.
Look at
So
day
much
off.
information.
Right, Sonny, 66 minutes. Time
Oh,
for a question.
Panicking. Haven't got one at the moment.
Oh.
What's your opinion on VAR?
Oh, for God's sake. Go
I
on, Dukes,
like-
this is your specialist.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you haven't watched the one-on-one on VAR, go watch that
No,
after
genuinely,
this.
go watch it.
Great plug.
Uh,
It's so good.
But I like VAR generally. I think it's being used very poorly.
It is funny.
And it's really annoying
That's
how
another element.
I do find it amusing
Oh.
how people get so worked up about it as if it's some sort of mythical like overlord.
That's
It-
the problem.
Because it is-
That's the
it
problem
is-
it's
with
there's
people
an
in a
issue.
room and they're making mistakes. Like,
And that's the whole point.
Yeah, but
you're
you're
not
not-
supposed to bring a
yeah.
system in that is supposed to is gonna lead to human error again. fam.
Oh, I
You're
agree.
supposed to have extra cameras, all of these things.
I agree. I think on offsides it's been pretty much faultless. I feel like if you're offside and build up, you're offside and build up, whether you're 2
Yeah, that's
centimeters
the
out or
problem.
not.
The problem
Yeah.
is
But the
subjective
cameras,
versus objective.
exactly. So for penalties,
Well, and
why,
clear
why,
and
have
obvious.
why have they introduced it if they're not prepared to overturn referees' decisions? That's what I don't get.
But that's the thing. Nobody likes to admit that referees are bad. It's the same way that, like, if a manager or a player comes out after a game and says the referee was really terrible, which is a perfectly legitimate thing to say, they get fined.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
make
you
it-
think like
it's
after,
so- it's so
and that's the
annoying,
reason that
man.
people like Mike Dean like continue to be managers in the
Yeah,
Premier League
yeah.
because they don't
Referees.
get called out. And the
Yeah.
reason that referees, and the reason that that they don't want to do this with VAR as well is because they realise that then at the end of the season. At the end of the season, like a newspaper will say, okay, well, Mike Dean had 60 decisions overturned by VAR. Is that really good enough for a referee in the Premier League? And they'll have to sack him.
But it's
That's
like
what they don't want to
it's
do.
like with other sports. They like in tennis, like the umpires line those decisions are often overturned. In cricket, the umpires often get it wrong, and you've just got to be a bit more humble and less proud and say like, yes, I'm not faultless. I make decisions at breakneck speed, and if I've got the technology to help me, I should use it. I think. The referee, it's not really even the referee's fault. It's the way they've implemented it. It's Neil Swarbrick and his team at Stockley Park.
It's the whole screen thing. Because are they allowed to?
Oh my days!
Are they allowed to go up?
they've been-
And it's this idea that like the ref on the field like outranks the other ref, so the other ref has to be
that
like, oh
shouldn't
no,
be the
well you
case.
thought this thing, so therefore
They've
like...
been told not to use the pitch side monitors to reduce the amount of time spent. But
But the time being spent is 5+ minutes over certain decisions.
I agree. It's being used so
like-
badly,
like
but I
the
think it will be great in a few years.
Also-
Yeah, exactly. If they think the ref is God, then they should genuinely just say like the VAR thing should be no assistant ref. It should be straight over to a monitor, have a quick look. I decide on whether I agree with my decision or not. That should be it.
Apparently, news just in: Sabitzer, is it Marcel Sabitzer?
Yeah.
Yep, has just scored one of the goals of the season. I'm hearing.
Oh, imagine if we were watching that.
Yeah, I know.
Hey ho, what can you do, eh?
We're here now.
What the hell?
Maybe they'll show a little
good,
snippet of it
Good
or
call
something.
it,
But we are still hoping for a goal on this. 20 minutes to go.
Here, if you want to have a
Sonny's getting it up. Sabitzer. This is a bit antisocial for them.
What are you doing?
You gotta show us all, bro. You gotta put that in the middle.
You're a disgrace.
You're
Oh
still
my
just-
lordy!
yeah,
Right, that
You're
is
still
a
just showing one
absolute
person. Let
beauty.
me
Pass
see.
it along.
Oh,
We'll
no.
cover the rest of the goal.
Don't click on it though.
Why can't I click on it?
Oh, is there
Well, you've
sound?
got to rewind
Oh,
now,
we're
innit?
gone. I didn't know
Yeah.
if the sound was on.
Okay, we got Michy Batshuayi coming
What's up with his
onto the
phone?
pitch for Tammy
My
Abraham.
Palace mates so want him back at the club.
Really?
Yeah, they
I
love
feel
it.
like he's good for Palace, but without being exceptional.
They see him as a cult hero, which is very surprising. But
Really?
They really. I think they'd.
Oh,
one of them said
God of
once
the
they'd
season.
rather him
Alright, man.
over.
Oh, Mishi.
I think goal of the season's a big
Yeah.
claim.
I would have
but
bought on Giroud.
I think
It's a nice goal.
it's a really nice goal. Fair play Sabitzer as well. He's had a fantastic year so far. for
You're right there,
Leipzig.
Diggs.
Yeah, sorry, it's the chips I think we're coming back at.
Ew.
Yeah, sorry, that's a bit gross actually.
Would you like
Never mind, we've got about
It sounded
We've got about-
sad.
We've got about 20 minutes to go on this one. Not been the
mate.
best game by any stretch of imagination, but yeah, thank you for sticking with us. And if you've just joined us, please remember to subscribe to Eurofootball Daily. Promise you, there's normally a lot of goals, there's normally a lot of action, but it's been
I think we're cursed.
been a bit of a non-event so
This is
far.
what I need,
second half.
Batshuayi.
Here
This is
comes
what I need.
Batshuayi.
That's a
Come
This
on,
is what I
Alba.
need. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
Silver
go.
lining as well. There's another
Oh.
Champions League game after this.
Yes, there is. There
We're
is
not
indeed.
doing it, obviously, because we're not meant.
Bangers.
Or
What the
Dortmund
hell is
Inter, though.
happening?
Predictions for Dortmund Inter?
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
that's
That's
gonna be a good
like
game.
I like it, Sonny.
Boring. That's my
Inter's gonna
prediction.
win.
I think Inter Milan.
It's
not
at
scoreline.
Inter. That's
Wow.
sick.
At Inter Milan.
Did you see that?
Did you?
I've really enjoyed watching Inter Milan.
Yes. Oh no.
I'm really enjoying the sort of burgeoning relationship between Lukaku and Martinez. I think their defense has
Against
been
Barcelona,
really solid.
they were very impressive. They
Yeah.
were very unlucky.
I think-
Suarez just turned it on.
Asamoah is playing really well on left wing back. Candreva's been sort of reinvented as a right wing back, and then Barella, Sensi. There's a lot of players to get excited about for Inter Milan. Yeah, as Pat says, probably not like the most. I wouldn't pay to watch them over a lot of other sides in Europe, but they're definitely. I just love the fact that there's a title challenge in Serie A for the first time in
I
ages.
think there's a lot across Europe. Especially in the Bundesliga as well.
Oh yeah, Bundesliga. There's like a.
I just like it's a
2
bit more
points between the top
entertaining.
nines
Like,
now.
it's just a bit.
But I think the fact that Liverpool are so far ahead in the Premier League right now means we should have a pretty good title race.
Only 6 points.
It's actually only 6 points still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not far ahead.
That's crazy. You keep looking. I keep not looking at the table, and then you're like, okay,
Shoot!
well, Arsenal must be miles behind.
Oh,
Like,
come on!
Oh! That's right.
Down.
Oh my days. You better hope that the flag goes up, bro. You better hope that the flag goes up.
Oh, Alba, talk us through it.
Oh my, I don't even want to, bro.
Oh,
I don't even
my
want to.
God.
Ah,
Oh my days.
that was gilt edge. Talk us through it.
Oh my days.
He is
Pulisic had a shot.
Oh, no, he's not.
No, he's
He's
not.
being
Pulisic
played
had a shot
He had the
deflected.
touch as well. The touch was
Batshuayi
so
had a
good.
1-on-1 6-yard out in front of Onana, and he's hit it over the bar.
I think another was
The
same.
Lord knows we needed it on this stream. You guys needed it in the audience. That was our moment.
No, you got to put that in. You got to put that in flipping.
That's in the FD clips, which you can check out afterwards, which I'll be clipping.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely gutting Batshuayi.
You got to put 0-0 featuring Batshuayi. Batshuayi.
Is this the worst shot?
Only just come on and hasn't played that much this year, but surely of a striker for
Oh,
quality.
please.
Oh, AC,
This is what I mean.
I was about to say AC Milan.
Literally
Ajax going down the
more
other
like
then, though. Oh, Pat, how do you think that Ajax could change up? What would Ten Hag be looking to maybe
Well,
change?
it looks like they're bringing on Davineras, or maybe he's just come on. I'm not sure. They just showed him on the sideline, but I don't think he's actually on yet. So I think that's their plan, really. Like, just get a bit more pace. I'm not sure who they'll bring him on
Oh
for.
my! No, sorry.
Maybe Quincy and move somebody over to the other side. I don't know. It's hard to say.
The drama levels just increased slightly. I was getting overexcited. Oh, Ziyech.
Oh my
A lot of big moments, Ziyech, but potentially the final ball.
You know, I genuinely thought that he was gonna just score that. Like, I didn't even
I mean,
think
he
twice.
should be scoring that.
Yeah.
I mean,
The thing is, though, he takes the touch, and then as it's dropping, he gets
leaned back.
also he gets closed down, and so he wants to hit it really early. Whereas actually, if he turned away and shielded the ball, he could probably have kept the marker behind him.
Yeah.
But he just wants to slap it in.
He just
I hate
he
to say it,
just
but
snatched
I
it. He
hate to
just
say it,
panicked.
but if Tammy was on, I reckon he would have scored that.
So far over, man. On his left foot, really? Dropping volley?
Right, he's got another
You've got to
chance
make
here
up
to
for it.
make
You've got to
amends.
make up for
Running
it,
down
bro.
the left. No, he's not
You've
even
got to make
running.
up for it.
oh,
Hold on
not
to it at
bad
least.
hold up play.
What are you doing?
What's he doing, though?
Said that and
What's he actually doing?
bunkered it.
Not
What?
great. Oh, lads, we've got about 16 minutes left, but if you're joining us on the stream for the first time, we're praying for some goals here. Please remember to subscribe to Eurofootball Daily and hit that notification bell.
Don't make me do it again.
If you
Sorry, man.
all
I'm
subscribe right
nervous,
now,
man.
maybe the football gods will just send us some goals. Because I think that's what we need. We need divine intervention at the moment, because this second half has not been particularly high on quality.
We might just have to start lying about results and the titles and that, and be at the beginning be like joke. But stay tuned.
Son scored, put it in South Korean again. They love it.
Oh, I do.
Okay. 15 minutes left. Sonny, let's get a question in. Are the audience still there? Yeah, they are.
Good, quite good at the moment. With the City crisis at the back, who should they get centre back wise?
City
in January.
crisis at the back. I mean, it's Rodri
Stones
now
is
injured
back
as
now.
well, now isn't it? And
Stones
Stones is back. So Stones and Fernandinho, I think, can last them pretty well, backed up by Eric Garcia and I can never
looks
remember the name of
dangerous.
that fourth one. What's his name? Double-barreled. Went to the Everton game. Sat in the away fans.
Don't know.
Kieran, what's his name? The Taylor Bellis. Taylor Bellis. Harwood Bellis. That's it.
Taylor.
I think that nearly there.
Somebody's first one.
That would set them up pretty well till
Nice.
January, and then everyone's talking about Milan Skriniar, but I don't know why Skriniar would leave mid-season, to be totally honest, unless they offered him an
Oh my
incredible
God.
deal.
Unless they like,
Time.
unless the title race like Juventus.
Yeah, and Pep said at the end of the summer that they didn't have enough money to buy a centre back, and I don't really. I think he was probably lying. To be
For a
honest.
good
So
a good centre back though.
for a really good centre back, Skriniar's going to cost 90, at least over 80.
Koulibaly will be 90 min.
I think they'll just wait till next summer.
Yeah.
Johnny Evans.
I don't think they get the kind of guy that they want in January.
Oh my
Oh,
days.
I feel like
he's
they
so
can
lucky.
they can probably catch
I
and
love
live with
him. He's
Liverpool
my-
without them.
It's
this
always
season.
my spirit animal.
Yeah, I think so.
And Stones
That
will
was
Stones
Zoom,
will
bro.
really help out. I think Stones and Fernandinho is perfectly good. I think it's just Otamendi's really dropped off this year.
Otamendi is terrible.
But guys, what did we make of Man United Liverpool at the end on Sunday? Because it felt like, Pat, that Man United managed to control Liverpool like we haven't really seen from a lot of sides this
I thought that was
year.
it.
Yeah, well, you say that, but I thought Chelsea did.
Chelsea did in that second half, to be fair.
I thought Chelsea were the better side against Liverpool, and I thought United were the better side in this game for a lot of the game. But then, like, at the end, Liverpool just had better strength on the bench, and they were able to change their formation. But I mean, if you actually look at the stats for the game, like Fred led the whole game, I think, in pressures. I think it was like 52 pressures in the game. So they were just closing everyone down and really muddying things up in midfield. And without that extra bit of like kind of star quality from Salah.
Come on.
Oh, here we
Here
go.
we go. No,
He slipped.
not to be.
Are you joking?
Without that extra bit of star quality that you get from a Mo Salah, there was just not quite enough there. They switched things up in the second half. Like, obviously brought on
Henderson's the
Lallana,
right.
and then
Mane
Ox
was
came
surprisingly
on,
quiet.
He's
Keita
offside.
came on.
Keita played pretty well in the minutes he played.
You say that, his passing was good. He got on the ball a lot, but there were times where you thought the Keita of a couple of years ago would have driven forwards.
Yeah.
And it looks like he doesn't trust
The
his
Ox
body.
looked very strong when
I
he
thought his because he was the guy that gave the disguise pass to Robertson when it looked like he was gonna. He sort of opened his body up as if he was gonna pass there, then pulled out. But here we might have a come on, get in the net. No.
Oh,
It looked like he was just gonna have a shot himself, but then he sort of
no.
disguised it over to Robertson. Great ball in, sort of a miss from who was it that missed it in the end, and then Lallana tapped in the back post. But
BATSHUAYI.
It was time for Liverpool to drop some points because they haven't been as good as their record would suggest so far this season. Like, don't get me wrong, they've been excellent, but like, have they been like unbeaten record, like all wins? Like their defense has overperformed now 2 seasons in a row, so maybe they're doing something special, but I don't really think they are. So I think that, versus expected goals, they've overperformed. So I think that only 6 points ahead. It should be a really interesting title race.
2 games.
Well played.
against
Well
City
played.
to come.
Go on,
Give him!
turn.
City now. Is he still?
I thought he was going to turn and just
Is that
knock
a
it into
corner?
back
He
straight.
just seems off the pace.
But
a
it,
little,
like,
man.
not only Stone's coming back, but Mendy's now back for City. He hasn't looked back to his best against Palace than last night.
Yeah, but Zinchenko's now injured, isn't he?
Oh, true.
So I mean, like, City just don't have
Plugging
good
holes
injury
while others
luck.
open. Yeah.
But then again, they got through last season without De Bruyne.
Mendy's
that
back
was
though.
alright.
Right, Oba.
Yeah.
What? Talk us through this. We need a goal. We need your energies to bring it through the net
Bro,
for
I
Chelsea.
can't, fam. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why?
We've got in good positions, but we're just not doing we're not making the right
Go
final
on.
pass in the final third, innit?
Come on, pray.
just-
We need. Come on.
All right, this is
I'll
it.
pray.
This is it. This is it.
Come on,
This
let's
is
get
it.
a goal.
This is it. This is it.
Oh, it's
This is
good.
it.
It's
This is
good.
it. This is it.
Oh,
I actually thought I was.
Oh, it's annoying when that camera angle happens, isn't it? Because you thought that Tomori effort was going, but it just went wide. Zuma and Tomori are complaining about something.
Get back,
Not
though,
quite
man.
sure why. Yeah, focus. So we've got about 11 minutes to go on this live stream. We are praying for some late action, but thank you so much for watching so far. If you've joined us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to Eurofootball Daily. Hit that notification bell to never miss a video.
Let's
Normally,
have all.
honestly, all the live streams we did last year, goals galore. The one we did earlier this year, Real Madrid, PSG, goals galore. I don't know what's happened today,
Last
lads.
year was exceptional.
You're a
Dude,
curse.
stop
Sonny.
it.
I'm a
This is,
curse.
you're doing a Hamill, man, where he's just like, as we're doing a show, he's talking about why it's bad. Stop
It's
it.
not bad, but you just want more
We're having a lot of
drama.
fun, aren't we?
It's been,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
been a
having
Go
lot.
on.
Here we go.
Come on.
It's
Hit that.
it!
Oh,
No!
ref. That's a corner.
Why?
That's a corner,
Oh,
ref.
that was a
I
corner.
was cheering Chelsea then, mad.
Just,
Oh.
Oh, he's got.
he's done a Robbie Fowler.
Oh god, that was good though. BATSHUAYI and Pulisic link up very well together, you know. They link up very well
Pulisic
together.
has looked sharp since he's come on.
I
hasn't he,
told
Sam?
you. How is that not a corner?
Wouldn't you?
What did you say, Sonny?
What? Nothing.
Better be careful. Your team still lost
Oh,
7-2
mate.
recently.
Yeah, but
7-2.
Don't
we
forget
not
that.
talk about. We've gone a whole
I know, I'm
80
just
minutes
letting- I'm just
without
letting you know,
talking about
innit?
7-2.
Didn't you lose
thank
7-2 at air hockey as well?
No, I won 7-2. I won.
course you
I
did.
won 7-2. No, I
That's not what-
did.
that's not how it
I
is.
did.
I did.
That's not how it
That's
is.
quite a
He did it.
score.
I
in
beat
air
McCubbin
hockey
as well. McCubbin knows. I beat him. Or was it Jay? No,
This
McCubbin
ref is
beat
on a
me.
joke thing. Oh my days.
Come on, BATSHUAYI. We just need one more.
Stop cheering for Chelsea, man.
Yeah,
You're the
come
worst.
on.
That
You were
said,
supporting Chelsea
Come
before this
on.
game
no,
started.
I wasn't. When have
Is
I ever
that-
supported Chelsea?
You said you thought Chelsea were going to win and you were enjoying all their play and blah, 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 blah.
How did I say?
That's
How
what
did
you
I
just
say?
say. That's
How
not
is saying
supporting
I
someone,
think
is it?
they'll win, supporting them?
Well, I
two
just
are
want,
totally different.
I now just want the English team to do well. And I feel like Chelsea.
You're not even English.
You gammon.
You're Scottish.
You gammon.
You're actually Scottish.
What do you mean? I think that's. I'm a neutral. My team's
you know
in
what?
League One.
A
I'm
lot-
going to support the English teams.
You know what? A lot of
You-
people.
why?
I'm not a rival of them.
A lot
Why?
of people
I'm not,
moan at
why
Zach.
would I support Ajax?
A lot of people
Why
moan
would
at
you
Zach for
support
being
Chelsea?
English.
Because they're English.
You're not English.
I'm half.
Oh Jesus Christ!
people moan at
That's like the
Zach.
same as you supporting Holland.
What do you mean?
You're half Dutch or whatever you
Oh,
are.
Zimbabwe.
What do you mean?
He
That's just the
supports
team
them.
I grew up supporting. You didn't grow up supporting Chelsea.
No, but you can choose to
supported the
but
Netherlands
Say
my
you
whole
watched.
life.
Say you watched a game of I don't know PSV versus Fortuna Düsseldorf.
Oh.
You might support PSV
That's a
because
great
of your Dutch links, whereas I'm supporting the English team because of my English links.
I wouldn't really
I don't-
care.
Who are you
Well, I
supporting?
don't really care. I
Oh.
just like to see a goal, or you know.
Then why are
Okay,
you
guys,
arguing?
it's
Why
enough.
don't
It's
you
enough.
just
It's
say
enough.
that?
It's enough.
You're
It's
pure.
enough. It's enough.
You've gone full gammon.
Why have I gone? Why have I gone full gammon?
Yeah, you're being.
You're allowed to support a team from your
Yeah,
nation.
you are.
Don't try and bring Brexit into this.
Yeah, if you're a
Whoa.
Brexiteer.
Whoa.
Bro, what type of header was that?
This has
Oh.
descended into absolute
That was
madness.
going in. Shot on target.
I'm cross.
And not more safe hands from
He
Kepa.
said I'm cross.
He supports because Sunderland will never ever get even back in the
Yeah, that's
Premier
basically
League.
the answer.
You wait. I'll take over. Might be completed at some stage.
Sunderland will play Southend before they play Spurs. Sonny will
Yes,
see.
definitely. We're
Turn
in
up,
the
turn
same-
up.
we're in
You're
the
in the
same
same division.
We're
We're
in
in
the
the same
same
I
division.
thought
division.
Southend were an amateur side.
No, in League One.
They play real
What do you mean
football.
Sol Campbell's been appointed.
Sorry, Southend are playing in the same division as Sunderland. You have like
Yeah.
a 40,000 seater stadium.
Yes.
Yeah,
Your club is a
We've got
disgusting.
a
big
10,000 seater, but we get.
What
we
is
average
this turning
about
into?
5.
Because it's 0-0. Have a bash at Doogie. This is so unfair. We're bad
game.
enough.
I'm bashing Sunderland.
We're bad
So
enough
tell
as
you-
we are.
tell you
Like,
though,
I know we're bad.
Southend.
But don't
Ipswich
lay
is
on
sold
with
out.
words
What are you
bad as-
talking about? We had a whole conversation about how my team's bad and a whole conversation about his team's bad.
but
It's
you're-
your
Yeah,
turn.
Yeah.
Your team's irrelevant. Well, just leave
Go
us
on,
in
go
our
on.
irrelevancy.
What do you mean?
Go on.
You're one of the biggest
Oh.
teams in the North East.
Yes, we're the biggest team in the northeast.
Yeah, we also said Newcastle would be
We're a
relegated. So there you
sleeping
go,
giant.
Well,
Come on, that's brilliant.
I mean, there's a sleeping
Oh,
giant.
unlucky.
yeah, there's a giant in a
We're
coma.
we're a giant in a coma. Yeah.
Garbage.
Say
Get Catamol back. Where's he now?
VV Venlo in Holland.
Yeah, he's in the Netherlands.
Seriously,
Oh,
I
yeah,
watched-
we get
real
back to
football.
that.
Oh
I
my
watched
God.
the highlight of his.
What's he
his
doing?
debut.
Zuma.
They'd
Zuma's-
never seen the like of him in the
Zuma,
Eredivisie.
what are you
apart
doing?
Catamol was running through
Why
like
did he do
crazy.
that?
What?
Take it on.
Putting in challenges left, right, centre. Catamol is finest.
That was crazy. That was like last 2 minutes.
Is he finally getting 30k a
Action.
week? Still.
Oh my days, Zuma. That's what I mean about
he
him.
deserves
Yeah,
it.
he's
Man.
got no idea.
This
Leave
does mad
Catamol-
stuff.
Zuma's legs like move independently of his body.
But
he's got no
then his
idea.
mind,
He's
like, he just-
"Urr."
His legs just start
He's
moving.
like
He's
a
like, oh, we're
daddy
going this way
long
then.
legs, man. Like,
Ooh.
Why you
Oh,
moving?
how dirty
He
that
moved in
was.
stages
he
there.
actually
went like-
he actually pulls out of this trying not to do it, and then
then
like,
does it more.
oh come on,
No, it was in the air. It made it look a lot
you're
worse.
gonna get booked for it.
I like the
but
refs
nobody
involved.
actually
The refs
thinks his
involved in that
intention is to
tackle.
injure.
Sonny, we've got 6 minutes left of regular time. What is our next question?
Should Ollie be sacked by Christmas?
Should he be sacked or should he be sacked by
No,
Christmas?
he shouldn't.
By Christmas.
I think if they can get an alternative in, I'm all for it.
Okay, if we're gonna be talking about it seriously, yeah. The beginning of the season, they beat us 4-0. They
that was
didn't
funny.
play. They didn't
That's
play
not
that.
that shocking.
They
That's-
didn't
I
play.
can't
They didn't
believe
play
that
that great, but they got the result. Yeah.
Yeah.
Martial and Pogba were key players in that team, innit? They've been out for like 15 games together combined, yeah. If any team loses two of their best players, especially a team like United, they're going to struggle in it. The only reason why I understand United fans' frustration sometimes is because it's like, even if you're playing against some of the lower teams, you shouldn't need those players. But clearly, like, they're that important. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think they should allow him for this season.
I agree with. Well, I don't agree with you on that, but I agree with you about the injuries. I think their first 11 is probably the quality of about fifth, which is where
max?
Yeah, probably max. Which is where I predicted them to finish at the start of the season. They've had
Special.
a lot of
Do
injuries to key players.
That's it.
They've lost their best. Oh, here we go! Come on!
Come on!
What a
That
goal!
makes
Come
up
on!
for it.
That's the
You
moment.
needed that!
Oh,
You
that makes
needed
up.
that!
Redemption
Come on.
for the big man.
I needed that. Oh,
This is massive.
yes,
That's mad.
Mitchie.
Oh, huge! Because he missed that big
Mitchie!
chance earlier.
Woo!
God, we need a replay on that. That was
Let's go.
came in off the bar as well. I
That
love
was
those finishes.
such a
Bam,
good
bam.
finish.
Hey, did you just see what happened there?
Bam, bam.
I'm not even know what they just did.
No,
there.
what?
I'll
Right,
tell you- I'll
Oba,
tell you
talk us
off
through
air.
this.
I'll tell you, that was mad. Who was at the pass the ball? That Pulisic did a madness out wide, cut it back, threw Alonso's leg, and bounced right on his left.
You know.
Top bins.
Marcus
In off
Alonso
the
hasn't
bar.
meant that. Marcus Alonso has not meant that.
He did.
No.
He
No,
did.
he hasn't.
No,
he
he
did.
meant to hit that with his-
No,
he
he
meant
sort of
to
just
hit
went.
that
He
with
went,
his
went to backheel
Yes,
it. He went
sir.
to backheel it.
It's
Oh,
the perfect dummy. This is huge for Chelsea. If they hold out here, they are on 6 points from 3 games. Massive. They'll be level. No, Ajax will be top on goal difference, I believe. But
on.
huge for Chelsea. I think it has it been deserved, Sam, for you. I haven't
I
quite
think
made my mind up.
a draw would be the right result in it, but I don't mind. I don't really care at all.
Huge.
Get another defender on or another
Huntelaar.
Oh, big
CDM.
Huntelaar. Pato, as a fan of the Dutch national team, as
You
we've,
didn't know how to
as
word
we've
that,
covered
you
upon.
bottled that.
Sure.
What?
You're like, as a fan of just football.
Yeah, the Dutch national team. I was going to ask him about Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. Where do you rank him in the modern strikers of the last 10, 15 years?
I mean,
Is he in the top bracket? Not quite.
yeah, he has to be because it hasn't been a hugely strong last 10 years for the Dutch national team. I mean, he's obviously below Van Persie.
Mitchie,
These
that's poor.
days, I mean, it depends what you count as a striker now. Like, because I'd also put him below like Depay in terms of what he's given. But like,
Vincent
actually, I
Janssen.
don't know about that. Like, he was really good back like when the Netherlands were good. So yeah, he's definitely in the top bracket. But
He's
like
had
I
quite a
say,
strange club career, I'd say.
Yeah, Schalke was a bit.
well, he went Schalke for a
he was
long
okay.
He went to
time.
Schalke for a long time, didn't really work
Oh.
out. Did he
Nah,
only,
come
did
on,
he only do a year at Real Madrid? 2 years?
Something like that.
He was there with the Van der Vaart era, wasn't he?
He's really good, man.
Schneider.
He just got injured a lot, but also he was famously a bit of a dick. And that was a problem for the Netherlands national team as well because
No one got along, did they?
he and Van Persie didn't get along really.
Really?
And Van Persie was actually world class, and Huntelaar for a period was very good. That's what I'd say.
Do you think the Netherlands have bounced back now? Like, do you fancy them at Euro 2020? Like, are they...
I wouldn't fancy them to win, but I fancy them to like get
Do
to
well.
the quarters or something. Like they've got a good manager. I think Koeman's actually a pretty good manager at the international level.
Yeah.
He's got a good simple system that works reasonably well for them. They've got talent all over the field. Like I mean, their centre-back pairing is outrageous, really. Like,
It's
to have
incredible.
Van Dijk and De Ligt, and then in front of them you've got De Jong, Wijnaldum, Van de Beek, Martin de Roon.
Yeah,
And that's really
that
good.
core is good.
Yeah, and then Depay. You've got Depay, you've got Justin Kluivert.
is Martin
and
de
you've
Roon the
got
one who's
and
in
you've got
midfield?
Freeze
Is he
Steven
in
left
Bergwijn.
back.
Was it
Barber
Middlesbrough?
was still
Martin
doing a
de Roon.
madness.
Martin
And
de
then he's
Roon,
at
yeah.
Sampdoria.
No, he's at Atalanta.
He's at Atalanta.
Oh.
He's
And
great.
then normally you play Quincy
Wow.
Promes as well. So
Who do you play at left back?
Ryan
Daily
Babel.
Blind?
Blint has played at left
Ake.
back quite a bit.
Or and Dumfries is right. It's a pretty strong. It's a pretty strong
And
side.
Sillerson in goals, not too bad either.
Let's
is
get
it?
another. Why
Wijnaldum
not?
played really
Why
well
not?
last international
Why
break
not?
as well.
Yeah, he's very good.
But just a quick reminder, if you are joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. We are 1-0 to Chelsea
Come on,
against
boys.
Ajax. Please remember to subscribe to Eurofootball Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss a video. We do live streams like this all the time. Sonny, approaching the last couple of minutes of this game. Let's get another question in.
Oh, you've caught me on the thing.
All right.
A lot of people are saying Marcelino to Arsenal. Pat, what do you think about that?
Yeah, fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it on a permanent. Like, really, what I'd do if I were gonna, I think if they were to sack Emery, which I don't think they will, it would be longer till the end of the season. But to do that, it would have to be really, really bad. The only other way I think that they'd probably get rid of Emery is if an ideal manager for them became available. Like, I don't think they'd bring in Marcelino and say we're just going to give you till the end of the season. Though I do actually think Marcelino would accept that. Why wouldn't he? He's sitting out there doing nothing, and it's a good audition. Like, 100% I take him. He's always created a good defence. His Valencia team last season were actually really, really good in attack as well. And he's just a smart manager. And right now, everything is terrible. Like, the defence hasn't worked. And in order to try and fix the defence, we've destroyed the entire attack. Like, so there's just nothing working at Arsenal at the moment, except Aubameyang, really.
Oh, but we've just seen Callum, as you like to call him, go off the pitch, replaced by Reece James.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite aware how well built Reece James is.
Yeah,
Reece James
are
on the
you
edge of the
mad?
box
That guy
right
is.
now.
His physique is mad.
He's
bro.
massive.
Yeah,
But I don't think Lampard probably expected
I
him
don't
to
think-
wait at the edge of the box with 2 minutes to go.
I don't think it'll be long until
You better get all the way
he's a
back.
starting player for Chelsea either.
Yeah, I mean,
Reece.
Yeah.
oh my
yes,
goodness,
Dennis.
could they get a
Oh,
second? Look at him!
Oh,
He should have just
He
passed it.
threw Reece
Oh,
James. He
right.
was entirely free on the right, unless he's offside.
That is
No,
so
he's not.
selfish.
no,
What-
why did he take it off him?
It was a 3-on-1 bit basically. Why is he shooting from there? At least take it in a bit further than playing Reece James.
What is he doing?
It's well played from Jorginho, and then
He could have even played
What?
in Kovacic.
that's nuts.
He had options.
Batshuayi,
That's why he doesn't start.
you
Honestly,
got the
His
goal, but
decision
you
making
missed
is-
that awful chance, and I think they could have got a second there
that
quite
decision
easily.
making is poor, man. Kovacic has been brilliant this game, though.
He's held onto the ball really nicely, hasn't he?
Pulisic has
like-
been amazing
I
since
feel
he's come
like,
on as
although I
well.
don't know what you think on this, but I feel like your centre back pairing have dealt with their threat pretty
Well, yeah,
comfortably.
yeah. I haven't like apart from the a few times we've been caught
Ooh.
off.
Oh my god, he's totally unmarked.
Oh, he's injured.
Yeah, we've only had like to deal with a
I
few
love watching Ajax though.
a few chances that they've created, and it's only been like when we're either we're attacking and they've caught us on the break, or someone's like dinked a ball in behind our fullbacks. But apart from that, they haven't really caused us that many problems, you know.
Fair. Lads, we are approaching the final 2.5 minutes of this game. Should we do a little man of the match? Oba, who would you say has been your man of the match for this? Hopefully 1-0 Chelsea win.
Tomori.
Tamori. Fair enough. I think that's a very good shout. Pat?
I don't know, man. Kovacic, why not?
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's quite difficult pulling out a standout performance.
I think
in
everyone's
this.
been fine.
I think everyone's been pretty solid. It hasn't set the game alight
Tell you what, Jorginho's
set the world
been
alight in
good.
terms
Yeah,
of
yes.
in terms of,
Keep it
he's
there.
been so good
Keep it
all
there.
year. Just keep it down there, Mason.
Kepa, he made that one save, didn't he? That wasn't an error.
See you later.
You
There he
actually
is,
talk your
Kovacic.
keep. I'm not even gonna get onto your keeper because he's injured right now. But I could have said
Yeah,
him.
No,
earlier.
give
you might, he
Gazzaniga-
actually
give
really-
Gazzaniga a bit,
Gazzaniga's
Chance.
fine.
Not foul.
Gazzaniga's probably better than Kepa.
How old is Gazzaniga?
26, 7.
Oh, okay, fair.
From the same town as Pochettino. Fact. It's called Murphy.
There we go. Facts with Sonny Snelling.
Yes, exactly.
1.5 minutes left of this
Let's go,
one.
boys.
Sonny,
Let's
let's
keep
get
it. Let's
a
keep it.
question in.
Right. And also for full time, I think how long are we going to be here after full time? A
Maybe
couple of
5-10 minutes. Yeah.
bit of like non-football questions because
Yeah.
we love talking about non-football stuff.
Oh,
Do you think Arteta will be the eventual replacement of Pep Guardiola?
I'd be surprised if I'm totally honest. I think
Play it, bro.
I think it's such
Play
I think
it!
it's such a risk to just give him the job of that magnitude immediately.
That's why it's just not
Or do you
quite,
think he's sort of going to eventually become that. Is like Pep teaching him the ways.
Yeah, I think there's no better teacher really. I think it would be difficult to replicate Pep. But if I was Arteta, I'd look to take another job first, and then maybe go back to Man City.
And rumours they're grooming Koku, like
Philippe Cocu.
Koku has apparently has apparently been like hanging around at the ground, like has been given a role within the club, like he's not got an official position like a coaching position, but it looks like he might be somebody they're thinking about down the road.
Really?
Apparently.
I haven't really caught much
That's
of this
such a
derby
good
so
goal.
far this year, but I feel like he's had a bit of a topsy-turvy last couple of years. He had a
Am I thinking Koku? No, I think I'm thinking Van Bronckhorst. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
when you said
for
that,
some reason I was
it's
like, yeah, Koku, and then I was just like, no, hang on, it's another. It's
I remember
another
reading the
like
article.
because when I heard
it's Van
Cocu, I was
Bronckhorst.
like, the guy who failed at Fenerbahce, he's now at Derby.
Yeah, no, it's Van
Random.
Bronckhorst. Van Bronckhorst
And
has
also
been like
Derby are not doing well because of the
has
whole
been kind of
scandal.
learning the ropes
Ooh.
apparently. Oh, don't say ooh at that.
Oh, I like a long range volley.
Come on, blow the whistle, ref. Blow the whistle, ref. You don't cheer now because you're wearing an Ajax top, bro. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. Yeah, I don't want them jokes. Come on, boys.
I'm so upset my
Come on,
third team
boys.
lost. My Dutch team.
Yes.
Oh.
We
1-0
take
to Chelsea. It's done. Tamori looking absolutely delighted. Zuma, Kepa, they
Tamori loves
defended very well tonight against Ajax. You have to say. I think they've kept a really good Ajax side to minimal chances and eventually took their chance. Oba, how delighted are you with that?
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. That's an away win in the Champions League. We take that anywhere.
Yeah.
We take that anywhere, man. And to be fair, like I said earlier, it could have been a draw, but we need
good
to win,
Ajax
man.
team.
And the Pulisic assist, that's what I'm saying. I called for him to come on, and he made the impact that he needed to in it.
Cow would have done that.
Baller.
Yeah, and Chelsea keep their fantastic record of no defeats in 7 games against Dutch opposition in the Champions League. And Ajax still haven't won 3 in a row in the Champions League, which is quite surprising, since 2005. So,
Hey!
but,
You look upset.
but it's got now it's an absolutely massive game between Valencia and Lille later, because if Valencia beat Lille, they'll be on 6 points as well, and we're in absolute dogfight for the rest of this group.
Oh yeah, I was about to say what are the other results, but it's like
It's about 8
It's
p.m.
like 8
I think
o'clock.
1-1 is Leipzig versus Zenit St. Petersburg.
With that fantastic goal. Pat, from an Ajax perspective, how would you sort of review this game? Is this just a one-off, or were you slightly disappointed by what you saw?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I thought that there was some good play there, but there were basically no big chances created. I think that Neres should probably have come on a bit earlier. But actually, I didn't think they played badly or anything. I think Chelsea are just a good side, and I think these are 2 very evenly matched teams, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure what I think would have been like the better option for Ajax necessarily. But yeah, they just really struggled to kind of get the final pass, and it felt like they had a lot of guys who wanted to get on the ball just outside the box, but Promes was the only guy kind of making runs for those people. So that's where I think that Neres would have perhaps helped, or maybe even Huntelaar from the start. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of Ajax sort of play in front of the Chelsea defenders, relatively easy to mop up. And Zuma and Tamori were excellent in their duels. Like you rarely saw them come off second best.
Yeah, I feel like they're growing in the role. Like our defense,
pair.
our defense is getting much better. Like I don't feel as nervous as I did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and feel like even Marcus Alonso, like, is still making forays down the left, but he's not being caught, out of
Sleeping.
position
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
I think maybe Jorginho and Kovacic maybe are just learning to cover better for him.
They
Feels like the team's
bust a
just-
gut in the second half. They genuinely they read the danger so quick. Every time he had someone running next to him, they would be both of them just attack that area.
Yeah.
So it's good, man. It's
Yeah,
good.
Sonny, let's get a couple of questions in before we wrap up.
So I've got a good one here. What is your favourite ever UCL game or UCL moment? Obviously, it's going to be hard for
game.
you, Doogie. So
As in for my own... Okay, we'll let these guys go with their own teams, I
Yeah,
suppose.
Didier Pen.
Yeah, difficult to go past that.
Yeah, I cried.
Pretty good.
I cried.
Pat, best Arsenal Champions League
I
moment?
mean, the Henry solo goal against Real Madrid was pretty good. First Premier League club ever to win there at the Bernabeu. But probably like favourite game, quite recent actually. Probably Man City beating Monaco at the Etihad. What was that? 5-3.
In 2017.
A couple of seasons ago. That was so fun, and it was like Mbappe was incredible. The goals were amazing.
that
Falcao
was
scored
very
an
good.
unbelievable chip. It was just entertainment start to finish.
Yeah, fair enough. My most favourite games, I thought Liverpool's comeback last year in the Champions League was pretty special to witness. I thought that final 45 minutes between Spurs and Ajax was pretty special to witness as well. I thought last year was a real treat. All time, for some reason, I really remember, it's such a niche result to remember. I really remember Man United beating Roma 7-0 away from home. And it was like my first couple of years of really being committed to football. I just remember thinking that was an absolutely awesome game. There's some awesome goals in that. I think like Carrick scored an absolute belter. Ronaldo got a couple of goals. It was a really fun game. But yeah, no memories from Sunderland, sadly. And Sonny, favourite Champions League moment? Probably not the second of June this year.
I mean, definitely not. I'd say bow at the San Siro. That was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
What about their comeback last year?
Yeah, definitely Man City and sorry, Kieran. And
draw.
I mean, away goals exist, Kieran. And Ajax, but also one that always sticks in my mind is when AC Milan played Arsenal, and I think it ended 4-0, and Ibra and El Shaarawy were very good.
Yeah.
I was watching it with an Arsenal fan, so I was
just love
laughing,
that.
but we hadn't even qualified.
And then
that
we
year,
won the
so-
return leg 3-0,
Yeah.
and Van Persie missed a sitter.
That was
And it
they were
annoying.
two very good ties.
Yeah,
so
that was actually really fun.
I'd say all them were very good.
Those AC Milan sides are the sort of mid to late
It's sad, really,
2005 to
when you
2010.
talk about past AC Milans, and it's just like,
Yeah,
it's just
I miss AC Milan as a concept.
yeah.
Anyway, next question.
One for you, Doogie. Can Phil Parkinson take you to the championship?
Does anyone actually care? I'll just do this
who?
briefly. Yeah, I fully believe you can. He took Bolton out of it.
We've got to support the English team, all right?
We're seventh. We've got a game in hand. I think we'll finish in the playoffs. I think Ipswich and Wickham look really strong this
face
year.
Sol Campbell at the weekend.
So yeah, we can definitely get in the playoffs, and up hopefully.
Sick.
Get excited, guys.
I can't wait.
You guys coming next May to Wembley?
For what?
The League One playoff final.
Oh.
When you don't get there and you lose in the last minute.
What, to
Yes,
see like
potentially.
crew beat someone, or whoever it is?
No, it'd be Sunderland versus probably Doncaster.
Oh, Jesus.
What game that will be?
Anyway,
gonna
next
miss that.
question. Maybe make it Champions League. related.
Doncaster is like a town name you read from a train as you go through it.
Good stop, actually.
And
Yeah.
then it goes, and it just the announcer says it really quick. Like they go,
Doncaster.
"Sing it, Doncaster. No.
King's Cross, Peterborough,
Doncaster.
Doncaster, then York.
Yeah.
Stop.
On the way to Hull.
Indeed.
Apparently, Zach Kingdom said I've made Menez cry because of AC Milan.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Don't
mate.
cry, young boy.
Who do you reckon will go through in this group? That's a good question.
Oba, you got to be backing your boys now.
Yeah,
eh?
Chelsea, Valencia.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
You reckon Ajax have a few more defeats in them?
yeah. They didn't look great today.
I feel like Lille, because I don't think Lille will go through, but they can definitely take points off the other three. So
Do they? What points do they have so far? Though?
they've got
Do we get a
they've got 0. haven't
got
they?
0.
Yeah, I think
They've
that's
got
the
0,
difference,
but they
right?
yeah. So everyone's on 6 except for Lille on 0. But I think like they've got enough danger in there to definitely take some points off people. So that's certainly not an easy fixture. Whereas some groups, you look at the fourth team and you're like, yeah, that's a guaranteed 6 points when you play them home and away. Sonny?
Should we go with one more question? 'Cause
Yeah,
we're a
let's
bit
do one
dry.
more question.
What's your perfect Sunday?
Ah,
Make it
Super
emotional.
Sunday, eh?
Yeah.
What an Alan Partridge question.
Perfect Sunday. I'll start.
Yeah.
Perfect Sunday is playing Sunday League in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming home. You know, having a shower, probably icing your ankles. You know, sometimes.
Icing your ankles.
Sunday.
Part of your favourite
This is the-
Sunday.
this is the worst story. I've ever
No,
heard.
listen. Let me finish.
I'm just imagining just going.
Icing your ankle, having a bit of lunch. Yeah, maybe some.
What are we having?
Maybe some. I don't know. You know, some chicken
some
with
ice-
something.
some
You know?
ice. Some
and
ice.
then hopefully a good Sunday, Super Sunday's on. You just chill off, relax.
Are you
maybe
still
sit-
icing your ankles at this
Yeah,
stage?
yeah, ice your ankle every 10 minutes. 'Cause it's Sunday League, innit? Them man are dangerous. But yeah, just not going out. Mainly, not going out. That's a good Sunday for me, innit?
Okay, I like it.
Pat?
Have you got anything to add on your favourite Sunday?
Any,
Sushi probably features.
any Sunday where I've got Monday off
Hey.
is my favourite Sunday.
But,
Like, so, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I go rock climbing with my wife.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know really. Just
I've got lots of them.
genuinely. If I've got work the next day, then it's never going to be my perfect Sunday. My perfect Sunday, I've got ideally like the rest of the week off.
Fair. I've got not a good Sunday lined up this weekend. I'm moving house, which is always a chore. But also got Wales, South Africa this weekend in the rugby. Anyway, enough rugby chat.
South Africa are going to win that.
Yeah, probably. I think it was South Africa New Zealand final. Should be
Whoa.
absolutely fantastic. Sonny, what's your favourite Sunday?
when I'm hungover from the night before.
Hey, really? You like a hangover?
Yeah, well, it depends.
Sorry, lad. Hangover. I like hangovers. I like drinking beer. But I like, you know what? Who likes hangovers?
I thought you were at church on a Sunday. What's the matter with
I
you?
used to when I was younger, but not now.
He's a bad.
Not-
he's a
not
bad
now.
boy.
Sorry, bad boy.
It's too early.
They're too much.
Started drinking beers on Sunday.
Live too
now,
fast.
Boys. Boys. Anyway, lads, this is descending into a bit of drivel about Sundays. But thank you very much for joining us, everyone that has watched Chelsea beat Ajax 1-0 away from home. Absolutely fantastic result. Thank you very much to Samuel Basecki.
Come on, thanks.
Thanks to Pato. And thanks to Sonny Snelling on his debut. Did fantastically well in Social Corner. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We'll see you for the next game week. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.